Welcome to the Lumber Lounge and Garage live shows, the JST Motorsports bench racing live shows. We are here at a home base tonight of the actual Lumber Lounge and Garage. We have our special guest, Tom Calico, on with us, which, let me tell you, this guy has had a lot of shares already on people wanting to see him on here, so I am pretty pumped about this one. You know, as we always do, we all right, sound's working good. As we always do, we talk about racing from the week before, but before we get into that, I'm gonna make sure I share this live feed because that's what we do. Make sure we share that so we can let everybody see our good buddy Tom Calico. For those of you who don't know Tom Calico, you're going to learn a lot tonight. A lot of you probably know who he is, and you've probably seen him. Sorry that it's a little bit bright, but I'm using... I put new lights in here, so it's actually really bright, but I feel like it still looks pretty good. So I'll work on that for next week. But what I wanted to do this week was make sure that my camera wasn't glitching, and I hope we fixed that. So I was trying to jack with the camera, and I got it all messed up. But we're here. We're live. We're live. Let's set this right here. We're all right, here we go. Cheers.
Oh.
Yeah, we got a cheers.
Yep.
Are you empty?
Almost.
Oh, well, I got more. I brought Budweiser in just for this guy. So cheers to Trav. Cheers to Ed. Cheers to everybody that hangs out with us. And this is going to be a fun one. If you can tell, we got a couple other microphones set up. I was told we might have some other people show up by chance. I don't know if that's true or not. When they heard that Tom was going to be on, they're like, I might just come crash the party. So we'll see.
Come looking for me.
We'll see. Not in a bad way, I promise you.
I hope not.
I told him already. He said, well, maybe they come beat me up. I said, hey, if they don't go through me first, a bunch of other people, I promise.
I'm not very tough. I'm more of a lover than a fighter.
Tough looking.
Yeah.
All right, man, we already got comments. Cash Lacombe, my man, what's up, bro? Man, my guy Cash, he hot lapped a 305 the other night.
He looked pretty good.
Dude, I'm pumped about that because
he'll be never getting into micro again. He'll be
dude,
ready
these kids, man, which I'll talk about what I did this weekend, and man, it's cool. Marty Castens Jr. said, "What up, Tomcat?"
What's up?
Jake Rogers, old Tomcat, man, you can't meet a better person. I agree with that 1,000%. 1,000%.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yep. Or I tried not to have people on my show I don't like.
Oh, yeah.
And so everybody I've had on my show I like, but I really like this guy a lot. So that helps. So, yeah, so you can see the comments over here on the right.
I can't see that.
I can't barely see them either. I can just tell if somebody commented, and then I look at my phone.
There. I got you.
So anyway, welcome to the Lumber Lounge and Garage JST Motorsports bench racing live show. We are here on a Monday night in the home garage. Like I said again, Shane is actually on vacation. They take the 4th of July off at Port City so they can go enjoy family and time. They went through Louisiana. Now they're down in Florida on the beach, which is good timing. I mean, they missed the rain. So
The Grove? Grove down there?
I think so. I mean, sure they didn't fly to Louisiana, then fly to...
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
That's true.
Watching from California. All right. Hell yeah. Man, we already got Wackley commenting. Man, maybe we'll just do a Q&A with Tom Calico today. Man.
No tough ones. No tough questions.
We got, well, I don't see where Wackley commented, but I don't know. He must have commented somewhere in my other deal. Tell them what you know, brother, fella nation out.
I don't know about that.
Tell them what you know, fella nation out. I'm talking to you. Tell them what you know. Brian Hindman.
Oh, Hindman, yes.
Hindman.
Yep. Grew up with that guy.
Josh Wackley said something. Let me look it up. Man, like I said, we might just do a Q&A. Tobe from Hoagie's Garage is here.
Heck yeah.
Yep. Woody's calling me. Hang on. Yes, sir. We're live, bud. Right now. I didn't put you on speaker for that reason. I'm live right now. I don't know. I'm live. I got people commenting and everything. We already got 30 people watching. I'm not lying. Why would I lie to you? Okay, bye. I don't know. It's live. See you, bye. Yeah, man. He said you don't have people on there you don't like. Then why do you have Shane on there all the time? That's not. I love Shane. Heads up, Mom's listening.
Uh-oh.
Kathy.
Yep, that'd be my mama.
And then Jake Rogers says, and you wonder why you're not on there, Jeremy. Anyway, man, I think we can. I got to find out what Wackley said because I want to know because I'm sure he said something that we needed to hear. I'm telling him we just need to do a Q&A. Q&A with Tomcat. What do you say here? Let's go to this one. I got all different ways to look at stuff. Really? There it is. Ask about the number 2 pencil from Metric Cycles, LOL.
Jeez.
How do I listen to the Lumber Lounge? Literally go follow
on the page.
Yeah. And we are live now. It's Alan Crawford, your uncle. Uncle A.
Oh, Uncle A. Yep.
Uncle A, yeah. Man, I got all kinds. This is crazy. It's like when Tanner was on here, man. This might be the best show yet. Oh, let's go back. Like I said, you never know who might show up in the long run, too. Let's go back here, Okay, all right. Man, it's the comeback king. Haas said, thanks for letting me steal your spot. Proud to say I know you, brother. Tom, you're a superhero, my friend.
Well, thank you, buddy.
I'm just going to sit here and like listen to what people have to say about Tom. This is going to be a good show.
All the good stuff will wear off.
Maybe I need
bad here for long.
I need to get Tom another beer and we'll have a really good show. All right, so Tom, you watch the show, so we always talk about a little bit of racing from the weekend before. There wasn't a lot because of the 4th of July weekend. A lot of people took off. High Limit took off. World of Outlaws took off. You still had late models racing, which there was some controversy there with Davenport. He got DQ'd running second behind Hudson O'Neill, which me and Hudson, everybody that has one of my sponsors, I always say we're teammates. So Hudson O'Neill, we're both teammates because of Wheeler Metals. Hudson won. Davenport ran second, but Davenport got DQ'd for his droop mount being loose.
Oh, there you go.
Technicality, but it's late models.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen them check droop?
No.
Okay, so they come in, they scale, and then they pull up on a flat piece, and they literally, the car has to be settled, and they measure from the ground. It's almost like us checking ride heights, right? They check their deck height. They call it droop.
Wow.
And if it stays if it's above a certain point, they're DQ'd. Yeah, I call it the Donnie Pedersen rule. Tom, did you get your fuel issue cleaned out? I'm telling you, we're going to get to the questions. Yeah. What up, Drew Johnston? So that was the late model world. We did have ASCS National Tour in Belleville. They called it the big one.
The big one.
Man, they're so fast there. Jason Martin, I thought he had it the first night, but Sam got him in traffic. But Sam even said it in his interview that he felt like Jason had a better car, and if it wasn't for the traffic.
Traffic.
But man, Sam is just. That might be one other person. So, and then Sam swept the second night. That's pretty much been ASCS. I think the biggest news there was that Seth Bergman wasn't there. He went to Washington for a month, which he did that a couple years ago, leading points. So he was out. Yeah.
I was wondering where he was. I didn't see he was there.
Yep, he ran Skagit last night or Saturday night. Ran fourth, came from the back, ran fourth. Can't wait to see Tomcat click off that first feature win with that throwback theme, which we'll get to that throwback thing here in a minute. Oh, that's Duvall.
Duvall
came. Well, Joe Duvall's here. And somebody up. Oh, it looks like
Oh,
Danny Smith.
Danny
Man,
Smith.
I don't know if we got a rough crowd or a big crowd. Oh, my goodness. I'm glad I set up 2 more mics. I didn't know it was going to be all them people. So, anyway, we'll let these guys come on in here for a second and say hi to them. I'm glad I set up a couple of microphones. Mr. Danny? Well, I got 2 extras if you want to have a seat.
What's going on, brother? Nice fancy shirt you got there.
What's that?
Fancy shirt you got there.
I just wanted to come see this one live.
How you doing? Welcome, Danny. I'm telling you, dude. I literally have been sitting here saying I should just do a Q&A because these people are already just filling up the comments. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Have a seat. If you, Danny, you're more than welcome. Have a seat. You got a microphone right there.
Got a microphone.
Come on.
What's up with these lights?
Man, I got those for $78 from Amazon, and they are a little bright, but they're way brighter than what I had before. So it's an adjustment period, and you can add on to them. So, yeah, I got it. This is the original Lumber Lounge and Garage. Welcome. This is it.
No, I was pulling up in here. I was like, man, this is how the other half lives.
Yeah, shit. Maybe the lower half. I don't know.
1%.
What he's doing.
Yeah, okay.
What's going on?
Well, now we got a couple other guests. So we got Danny Smith. Those of you who don't know Danny Smith, you've been living under a rock. And then Joe Duvall, who has been on the show multiple times via phone and in person, Chili Bowl. And so, yep. So welcome, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I'm telling you, this Tom Calico show might be the best one yet.
Oh, it ought to be. What have we missed?
So we were just going over what we always talk about the racing from the weekend before. So we just talked about Belleville. We talked about Davenport getting DQ'd for his droop deal being loose. And then we were going to get into the BC 39. And
That was an interesting race.
it was a very interesting race. You had a whole team going after each other, trying to kill each other, basically, with KKM. Yeah.
Slide or die.
Slide or die.
Yeah.
Yep. Oklahoma boy wins. Oklahoma boys won both. Brent Bowie, that's his name, Brent Bowie.
Yeah.
From junior sprint from Oklahoma City. He won the junior sprint portion. And then Cannon McIntosh won the final night.
So I'm on a boat Saturday, and this guy beside me is like, I don't know, he's like, so you race? I go, yeah, a little bit. just a little bit.
A little bit.
He goes, yeah, my some relative of his or something. He goes, my nephew or whatever, Yeah, he just won this big invite race in Indianapolis the other day. I go, oh yeah. And so at any rate, of course, I look like some sort of a clown because I had never heard of him. I told him, man, I saw it like the BC 39 or what? Yeah, it's kind of an invitational deal. Oh yeah. So he thought I was probably some blowhard or something like that. Hopefully he went to work today and goes, hey, you ever heard of this Joe Duvall guy? What kind of guy is he?
He might know a thing or two.
I might. I try to fly under radar.
Put your mic a little closer.
Oh.
Somebody text me. And I had the mic down when you first got here. So
Yeah, that's kind of like, it's all adjustable and everything. You like my shirt?
I like your shirt.
My shirt. Did you see my shirt?
Yeah, I noticed that shirt.
You know my shirt?
What is
You're not
that?
even going to ask about it? What kind of establishment is
Well, I
this
mean,
anyway?
since you already seen it, we might as well talk about it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love it.
So Tom, actually, this was all planned.
Was it?
Yep. This was all planned.
Planned it out, did
We
you?
planned it out.
Yeah.
So Joe, why don't you take the mic and tell them what we did here? Because you're the one that did it.
One night I was reading your race report, and what's that? I was probably drunk, but you was sitting right beside me, so we was both drunk,
You were
probably.
drunk,
Speaking of
But,
that, you guys need a drink or anything?
No, I'm good, believe it. So I was reading your race report, and I texted a couple of buddies of mine. I was like, hey, you know what we ought to do? So we ought to get Tom Calico some shirts. Because there's a lot of people that you probably don't realize that really appreciate your racing program and what you do. Like if there was a Hall of Fame for a guy who is
A grinder.
a grinder, just a guy that's there every week, that is a pleasure to for the sport, that puts back into the sport, and is a positive talker, thinker. I'm sure you'd be on the first ballot. And there's a lot of people that would back me up on that, you know. And whenever you decided you was going to come out of your sabbatical, you never did really retire from racing. You just took a little time off.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And where you decided, I was really excited about that. So like I said, I reached out to a few friends. We've got some mutual friends, Danny Carbone, Terry Easum. I was like, hey, here's what we're going to do. And all four of these guys are all in all the time. Like, I could call them right now and say, hey, man, I need to bury body. They'll come over. It's just, that's how we roll.
Like,
where's that beat button?
And
that'd be like the second time he's done that.
Yeah, right.
And Scott Swanner with Bulletproof Tees, he was very instrumental in this. And I told him, I said, hey, here's what we're going to do. Shane got us a picture. The night I texted you, was like, hey, man, where does you live? Because I had you pegged for Collinsville. And so I didn't want to get like the wrong hometown on it, you know. So I had to make up some BS story of whatever it was.
I was with my helper, and I was like, what is that about? I wondered. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Where do you live at? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just never know. You might get a knock
You might
on the door.
got from Tom like in a house.
Yeah.
Like that's how Tom.
Yeah.
This will be the hottest selling T-shirt.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's.
They'll be gone quick.
Yeah, and it's one of them deals where reorders, and just we want you to take all the proceeds and put it 100% back in your racing program.
Well, I can do that.
I believe that.
Appreciate you guys,
I believe
man.
that.
That's awesome.
So I got we got 3 big boxes, and so y'all start
So let's show him
buying
the back.
some shirts.
Show him the back.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
so
think
bad.
I've seen the back. So,
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, what do you think about that?
Huh?
What do you think
That's
about
cool,
that?
on the
man.
camera?
That's a nice shirt.
Yeah, I can get it up here.
Get it on the camera. Stand up there where you can get it on the camera. Let these folks.
they will look at my butt.
Is that a large or
This is a
a
large.
medium?
It's a large.
Was you
So
just
I've got small through 3Xs. What's that?
nothing? I thought you were showing your muscles off, so you wore a small shirt.
No.
Man, I appreciate that, guys. That's a badass shirt.
Oh yeah.
There it is. I've always wanted to get shirts made too, but
We got the front there. That's Tom Calico on it. It's a little right from the lights, but
Little GQ model.
if you are interested, get with Tom.
G-body.
or Obviously, get with any of us, and we can get you the right size.
so it was
Like,
planned
you are
out.
not
You didn't even want to talk to me.
No, actually, I wanted to talk to you because
Okay.
I knew exactly what would happen when I said I was going to have you on the shows, and exactly what happened when people there was 10 shares already on the post I did earlier. You
Yeah,
know,
like usually
There's
his
immediately
show
30
bombs and like
exactly.
I mean like
All 3 people.
I mean like yeah, just give
Hey,
me the
I've had that happen.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there
like-
watching. I'm like, why am I even on here? But
Is this thing
you gotta
working?
Keep going.
Is this thing working? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to get on here. You know.
When I first
I'll be
started
back
this-
in a little while.
Yeah, when I first
Yeah.
started, I'd sit here and I'd sit up there. I'd have my phone propped up and my chair, and I'd sit there and I'd just start talking, and there was like one person watching, and then 2, and if I got to 20, I was like, that's a good night, and then it falls right back to 3 after they all start watching. So, but yeah, it's
I'm going to tank it for you. I'm sorry.
no, believe me. Him being here is what makes it special. You know,
I always say that you surround yourself with good people. You're a product of your environment. So if you feel your environment full of good people like this, that's what we do.
yeah, it'll move up towards you. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, for sure. I feel the same way, right? Like, somebody told me that 15 years ago. You surround yourself by the right people, and you'll be good. So,
I'm not, involved in the mini sprint deal, but I watch. Mm-hmm. I see it all, and you see this grinder here, and he stays with it.
Yep.
And he's got a huge following, and there's nothing ever negative.
100% positive
Never.
mental
Never.
attitude.
Yeah.
I try to be.
never.
Try to be. There ain't no
Never.
point getting mad about it. I mean, there's always another race. I mean, what are you gonna do?
On to the next one. Isn't that
On
what
to
they
the
say?
next one. Yep, that's it.
So, how you feeling right now, buddy? You
Oh,
need a
that's
beer?
cool. I kind of do. Yeah.
You do? All right.
Yeah. Police.
I had to buy Budweiser special for him. He likes the heavy one.
I like whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
So Tom used when I lived in Collinsville. Tom
Hey,
would,
tell my mom he's a non-alcoholic, will you?
okay, they're non-alcoholic Budweisers.
Tell my mom.
Yeah, his mom's
Non-alcoholic.
watching. So Tom would come by my house and we'd have a couple ice cold Budweisers on his way from Collinsville to Skytook when I lived in Collinsville, and I've known Tom through Sprint Car World when he helped Sean McClellan.
Yeah.
And again, he's just one of them guys that, you know, he's right there with you, whatever you need, and it's cool to see that other people are there when you need it. Because
Yeah.
you know, when you and your dad were racing, you know, it was just you two.
Yeah,
you know, your
that's
daughter
it.
would come, you know,
Yeah.
and but man, there ain't a person in that pits that wouldn't lift a hand for you.
Yeah.
So
But she's been a big help now since just me, you know. She goes every week. And
How old are
she's
you?
there. Me? 51.
Just a pup. We still got a lot of trying us, though, don't we?
yeah. So tell us, like, what I know you've been around racing. We know you race now, but what made you want to get into it and drive?
I just always wanted to race. I mean, my dad started taking me to the fairgrounds when I was probably like 10, you know. And then once I got to get into the pits, I was like, this is where it's at, you know. And I ran around with them Lambert guys, helping them, you know, scraping mud, just whatever. And, you know, just
They're
kind
an
of.
all right bunch.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep, super good guys. But
So when did you first start driving a micro?
probably, I don't know what year it was. It's probably about 11 years ago, maybe, or 12.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, yeah. But, yeah.
Now, is the car you're driving now that same Intruder that you had?
No.
No?
That is, I sold everything when my dad got sick, you know. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do this because this is what we were doing together. So I sold everything, and I was done. But then I found this car, which is that buddy of mine, Jeremy Bowers, which it was his exact car. And I'm like, hell, I'm going to buy that thing and redo it all like he had it. And I did exactly how he had it. And Brad Best still had the graphics and everything in his computer. And we don't know why, because that was over
Yeah.
who knows how long ago. So, and he fixed me up. And, yeah.
When I seen you post that, I was like, that's cool.
But, yeah, it turned out good.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to put together because it was...
By
you know,
yourself?
yeah, by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, and without getting too deep into it, I know maybe a lot of the reason you quit is because your dad.
Yeah, pretty
Right.
much, yeah.
You know, because that was, I mean, you show up at the track and there's Tom and his dad, and
Yep.
your dad's over there smoking cigarettes, watching you work, and
Yeah. Yep. Drinking
Yeah, that's
his
usually how it goes. isn't
yeah,
it?
Diet Pepsis.
Diet Pepsis, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. They tell you what you're doing wrong, and yeah, yeah.
Yep.
What makes you keep doing it?
Man, I don't know. Just love of the sport, I guess. Just
Yeah.
going out there and hanging out with my buddies and
Yeah,
going in circles, you know.
We'd be lost, wouldn't we?
We would be. Yeah.
We all have our vices.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
no, for sure. You spent a little time on the road. I say on the road.
Yeah.
You know, working on sprint cars, and who all did you? I know you helped Sean, but who all did you help in sprint cars?
Well, I helped Jimmy Lambert for a while. Then he went and did the NCRA deal. Mm-hmm. So then I started helping Michael, his brother,
Right.
and we had some fun, you know.
I was going to say, that'd be a hoot.
Boy, we went to Knoxville one time and just to watch, and then he went to an NCRA race like in North Dakota or something. We rolled all the way up there, and I was like, man, this is a cool deal. I'm on the road. I don't ever want to go back to work.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah.
He's a gypsy at heart. That's a gypsy lifestyle.
But you're a plumber by trade,
yeah.
and you helped me out one time, big time.
Which
How
time
many
was that?
people at that rent house in Collinsville? Remember we
We
ripped
tore
that
the
whole floor
out?
out?
Yeah, which doesn't really fall under the plumbing.
It didn't.
side,
It
but-
didn't. But so I had a rent house. I was living in a rent house when I first moved here, and the ring had went around the toilet had went bad, and it was leaking. And so I called Tom. I was like, "Hey man, I just think it needs a wax ring or whatever it is, right?" He goes, "Okay, I'll come over and look at it." So he comes over and he's like, "Yeah, I think you need one." Well, when we pulled the toilet up, he goes, "How have you not fallen through the floor?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, look at this. And he steps on it and his foot goes right through the floor. The only thing holding that toilet up was the pipe that was sewn. Okay. He goes, how long has this been leaking? I said, I don't know. I just moved in not too long ago, you know. And, well, we started tearing it apart and it got the subfloor. It got everything.
He thought that rocking was just a part of the chair.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And so he helped me. We did it in a weekend and he helped me replace that whole floor. Didn't have to. He just was like, I'll come back tomorrow. We'll get her done. And we did it in a Saturday and Sunday.
We did that tile. We pulled that tile up. I don't know who tiled that thing, but
it was bad.
It's like the best tiler in the world. That stuff was not coming up.
No, it was tough. But we did it, and I still appreciate it to this day.
Yeah, man.
And hopefully I don't have issues in this house. Well, I missed that on the blue check mark list, right?
Oh, yeah.
I actually did have a plumbing issue here.
You did?
Yeah. The Kinetic
it was under warranty or something, wasn't it?
They fixed it all.
Because you called me and then,
Yeah, they the Kinetic cut through the main line when they were putting the
sewer line,
fiber in. So,
oh wow,
yeah, and they tried to tell me it's because my wife was putting her tampons down the drain, and I said, we just moved in 4 months ago. How is that gonna clog it up that quick?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh no, that's what it was. No, and then they finally dug out there. I was on my way to Kansas City, and it happened again, and they dug it up, and sure enough, Windstream had put a hole in it, and it just started filling up with mud, so they had to fix it.
Good for you.
Dang contractors.
Damn contractor.
Sons of bitches.
So who was your favorite person to help racing?
Man.
I want to hear the favorite.
You do?
I want the other ones to get mad.
Do you?
No, I'm just playing.
You got to get your ratings up, huh? Stir it up a little bit.
Yeah. God, I don't know. I learned a lot from Sean McClellan, actually. Like going with him and doing stuff. He taught me how to do stuff the right way, you know, like cleaning and stuff like that, you know. He was like real meticulous on what he did.
Yeah, still is.
Yeah.
Why he still wins races.
Yeah.
Danny's the same way.
Yeah.
You know, everything's in order and everything has its place, just like Joe's trailer. That's. But you know what? I think that's how we all were taught to race too, right? Like
our generation.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I know I'm a little bit younger than you guys, but that's how I was taught. My dad taught me how to. You know, I remember the first time my dad got mad at me because I didn't wash the car right. He got dirty doing maintenance on the car, and it's like, sorry, I'm new, you know. But now I'd take that extra 5-10 minutes and. You know, just because my dad ripped my ass 24 years ago, you know?
Yeah, but then later on in life, you start working on it, and you don't want to get dirty.
Exactly.
So then,
well, that's because I work for Scott Brown, too, and he made me wear polos and starched jeans. And he had white tile floor in that shop, and they had to be mopped every night. I mean, Yep, good old Scott Brown. He was definitely a clean freak. First time I went to work with him, he said, see that car out there? I said, yep. He goes, don't touch it. I said, okay. He goes, see that towel and that glass cleaner? Them cabinets are dirty. I said, okay. That's where it started.
There you go.
Yep. That's where it started. Did you enjoy building your car this time?
I kind of did, yeah. I mean, it took a long time, but it was like I could go over there by myself and just kind of like
still
alone
at your
time.
mom and dad's
yeah,
house?
it's at my mom's, yeah. So
do you enjoy that more than driving?
I kind of do, actually. I think
I'd rather build a car any day.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
That is the funnest part for me.
It is.
I just built Garth Kasner a new car, and I built it in here, and I enjoyed the crap out of it. And then I fired it off down the street and pissed off my neighbors.
Even better.
Yeah,
My wife
You really enjoyed that part of it.
yeah.
My wife would tell me, you need to go sit on your stool. Because I'll sit on my stool and build a car.
Yep.
That's my time.
Yep.
Yep.
I think as you get older, that's kind of the fun part, right? Like making it do this, and making sure that just your torsion bars, making sure they spin, or just the little things, and doing the extra cleanup on the powder coat. I mean, it's just I don't know. To me, that's more fun than going to the racetrack and getting them dirty.
Yeah.
Even though that's still fun because the adrenaline, you know what I mean. But Saturday night it wasn't too fun, was it, Danny?
No, I don't bash tracks, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Where was you?
Lawton. Dude, we didn't hot lap till 9:45.
Ooh. Was it that early?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was after 10.
Hey, I got home at 7:30 in the morning.
Ugh.
I stopped
We
in
almost had a
Chandler
rain out without any rain.
without any rain. Yeah.
Overzealous water truck driver.
You know,
Yep.
when we got there, I turned around to DJ and I said, "Man, that water truck looks like it's idling around there." I said, "Man, they're pouring the water to it." I was like, "Well, hell, they know what they're doing more than I do." So, well, yeah.
Yeah, and that was at 4:30 because
Ice
you know
cream
they don't
on
let you in.
mud Saturday night, and I have in 5 years.
And they kept asking and kept asking, "Come out and help." We went out there 5 times to pack it in.
Oh man, we packed radiators full of mud. We had more
Yeah,
issues. I tore up some stuff on the car.
but typical Lawton. Once
Slicked off.
it slicked off and the grease was away, it was smooth and had a good curve on it.
Got to racing.
Got to race. It was a good race.
Yeah, because
It
we
was a damn
started
good
on the
race.
back, and we were going up to 6th or 7th, and then got caught up in the guys. He spun out and crashed us. But
Yeah, he got sideways in front of the whole field. Yep. Yeah, it ended up being a
first
good
race
race.
I've run out of tear-offs on since Tulsa Speedway days,
Wow.
and I had 35 of them on there.
Jeez.
But I had to go to the back,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was just like, you got to conserve tear-offs.
Yeah.
Quit pulling tear-offs.
Yeah. And it got fast. The track was super fast. It was still 15-second laps, which is fast for Lawton. So
How about you? What's the highlight of your driving deal? What is the one thing that just, man, that was so much fun?
Like the whole thing.
Everything that you've done in your lifetime,
I won 1A feature at Port. That was the only time.
that was
it. I was like, come off turn 4, and I was like, holy cow, I'm going to win this thing.
that'll fuel you for another 5 years.
Man,
I promise
guarantee you. I was
I've
like,
been there.
waiting to hear the guy coming around my other side, and I was like, never heard him. I was like, what in the world? Okay. But
I've been there. We've all been there. Really, this is happening?
yeah, I was like, hey.
it's like that last tee shot on 18. You hit that good drive, and okay, I'll come back. Like you spent 17 holes. Oh, screw this. I'm done. Blah 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 blah. You hit a 300-yard drive on the last hole. Like, okay, I'll be back. Give me a tee time.
Yeah. And then I stopped before I went off the track and got out and took a bow before I got off. Went off the track.
That's cool.
Old Kyle Busch just took a bow.
I wish I'd have been there. How long ago was that?
Woo, that a long time ago.
Was it in A class or
No, I was in sports.
sportsman? But you ran outlaw for a while.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
What do you run now?
Sportsman. Yeah, just because it's
I don't know. I mean, like,
Is that like an A class?
the same thing, but you can't run like titanium or left front brake or injection.
And the chassis has to be a certain age, doesn't it?
The motor has to be.
I thought the chassis couldn't be something. It can't be a brand new car. Is what I.
Yeah,
So it's the workman's class.
Correct.
yeah, it's supposed to be.
Yeah. No nose wing.
Yeah,
Used to be on gas,
yeah, but now
but they
it's-
switched that to methanol.
Yeah,
But no left front brake. Yeah. It's actually it's some good racing, really.
Yeah,
Because you got guys that will pound the wall down. Simpson.
Simpson.
Oh man,
he's
that guy will
unreal.
pound the wall down. Then you got Brad Best just putting around the bottom. You know what I mean? Like,
He can get on the top though when he wants to.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
it's kind of like how the old turf tire used to be.
Yeah.
It was
I
kind of
think
like
they still do turf
to
in
me,
Oklahoma City. I think.
to me, it was kind of like the original sportsman class.
My oldest boy, we ran him a year in a mini sprint out there, and we ran the sportsman class.
Yeah.
And it was just about a year of that, and I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about motorcycles, and I don't want to learn.
yeah.
And I had all these cars, and he was 14 going on 15, and he won 2A features out there. And I said, you know what? You're going in a big car.
Yeah, there you go.
And then he crashed and destroyed it in play day and never drove since. Scared the bejesus out of him.
Sounds like my when I was 5 and I wrecked a quarter midget, and I was like, I ain't never doing this
That's
again.
it.
Done.
Throttle hung on me, no brakes, just hot lapping. Got out. I don't want to do this again. And I didn't, except for my Port City mechanics race. You were there that night, I
remember
think.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I spun out twice.
Yeah, it happens.
Hopefully, I get to redeem myself this year.
They already did it, didn't they, this year?
Did they? They did the powder puff. Jen didn't back it up.
She didn't.
No, she ran second. Shane said out of all the trophies he has, the one trophy that sits on the mantle now is that powder puff trophy of Jen's. So I got a question for you guys. and I know you kind of explained it. What is it like for you guys? I know you do it out of the kindness of your own heart, and you do it because Tom's Tom, but you guys both do a lot for the racing world. Sprint car, when you'd had your non-wing deal with the 50 lapper at Creek and all you, I mean, dude, you did so much for the racing community, and Joe and you with your races. What for two guys that love racing yourself, obviously two different worlds, right? Modified sprint cars. You have raced a push and flip. I love that term.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
But why do you guys keep doing that, man? Like what? I mean, I know why, but like tell them why, because you guys do so much for the sport, and you don't have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that it's just we both had a little bit of success in life. We're not into these extravagant vacations and living outside our means or anything like that. So you just reinvest in, of course, we reinvest in our companies, but in our people that we have working for us. But we also reinvest in the sport that we love.
Mm-hmm.
And the sport's fragile. It's really fragile. But we've said this for years. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and the sport's fragile. It's not any more fragile today than it was a long time ago. The cost and the expense of doing it. So, you know, me and David came up with that deal, and he's done his Funkadelic deal. You know, it's the same. It's just a different genre of car, but it's still the same. And we turned them into events. There was a time when we had promoters. And promoters, they made their living off of that front gate and stuff like that. Then the promoters passed on. And then racers, like me, Joe, ended up buying racetracks. And the racers, they're not quite the promoting. Some of them, don't get me wrong, they're fantastic promoters. But some of them are just operators.
Yep.
And so we step in there and try to build something and build it. And it's an unbelievable amount of work. And but it's so much reward seeing, you know, when you see a guy balling that won a race, you know, we all like to see the guy win a race. We want to see that emotion, right? And no scales, no nothing. Let them get out of the car, do their donuts, get out of the car, scream, holler, jump up and down on the hood, or cry, or whatever the case be. That's the thrill of the moment right there. Getting out and taking a bow.
Yep.
You know, you didn't have to go to the dadgum scales or tech, or get out and do it right then. And they need to stick a microphone in your face.
Right in their face.
You know what I mean? And
They
what'd you do that for, stupid?
Yeah, they do it when you wreck. Let's do it when as soon as they
need
get
to
out.
do it all the time. You
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
And that builds events, and events bring people in. People don't want to watch an event on TV; they want to be a part of it. And so that's what we were trying to do. And I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just exhausted with it.
Yeah.
But he still grinded it out.
And it is. It's a lot of work. You know, it's with obviously the Funkadelic is next week. You know, I mean, I will get through this week, and then next week it's wide open. You know, jumping up and down, screaming on a street corner. Hey, there's some races going on here. There's some races going there. You know,
I'm looking forward to
you
the
got to be
videos.
here. You got to be here. You know,
sure.
you got to be here. You know, and I tell you, you know, one thing about it is, and Danny will understand. Danny can say this too. Is, you know, every year you have to reinvent yourself.
Oh, constantly.
Because just like racing, you know, what worked last year doesn't work this year. You can't line up with it. You know, they have to see you do something bigger, do something better. You know, is he gonna skydive in, or are you shooting somebody out of a cannon?
Yeah.
Are there gonna be strippers there? I mean, you know, you name it. I mean, you
gotta hit all the bases.
you got to check. You got to check the boxes.
Yep.
You know, and so I mean, it's a labor of love. It's an absolute labor of love. Danny, myself, we get zero out of it,
Right.
other than we get to race at a badass race at home, and give back. Like he said, you know, I go places all the time. People are like, oh, you race? You know, how's the racing going? You know, customers and everything else. So I mean, racing has been really, really good to me. You how I even got in the electrical, trade is a fluke deal. I actually tell this story often, probably, and you can appreciate this. I was at the Devil's Bowl for an ASCS race in 1993, and I have no idea how I got there or why I was there. True story. I don't even know who I went with, but I know where I was.
And before he quit drinking.
And at the time, I wasn't working, and I ran into Mike Milner from Tulsa, and I was like, I was like, hey, why don't you give me a job and just pay me cash? That way I can kind of race and kind of do da da da. And he's like, oh, well, when do you want to start? And well, when do you need me? How about Monday? Oh, I'll think about it. I called him about a month later. I was like, hey, man, I'm home from racing. Yeah, I've been waiting on you to call. I went to work for him, and the rest is history. He taught me a trade, and and was, like I said, and I can honestly say, had it not been for racing, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah. Oh, and Mike, what a great guy.
He's a dandy.
His dog just passed away the other day, finally. I mean, she was old, but I remember her coming. I met him at Town Pump. I met him at the bar.
Yeah.
And
we wired the original Town Pump.
Yeah.
I did. While he was on vacation.
Right.
Well,
he spent enough time there to check your work, I promise.
Oh, gosh. And he's probably watching, but
he watches a lot.
Really
does.
Have you ever been to lunch with Mike?
I've never got to go to lunch with him.
You got to do it at least once.
Yeah.
Because it'll change your life.
Get on Mike. I've had plenty of beers with him.
It'll change your life. I mean, what you got to do to get service around here? We're tippers. Slam that cup
I could
down.
see him doing
Oh,
that,
golly. It's like, Mike, they're still working on my food back there.
Yeah.
That's the one they're mopping the floor with.
Oh,
I know, right?
Oh, he's a dandy.
Why is this extra juicy?
Yeah.
Got a little wang to it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's one of the greatest, one of the best control guys I've ever seen in my life. And I've been around a lot of them that thought they were something. And from time to time, out to this day, I'll call Mike, hey. And he'll say, well, you dumb shit. You can figure it out. Yeah. Click. Hangs up on me. Just like the old days. And sure enough, but he's just a great guy. Yeah. I'm forever indebted to him.
And a huge race fan.
Oh, big time.
Oh. It don't matter if I hadn't seen him in a month, 2 months, 3 months. Oh, man, what you been doing? I seen you down there helping this guy or helping that guy. I mean, he's always up on top of it. And it's just cool to see.
The first national I made at Peoria, Mike and a buddy of his took me up there. And then they had to haul me home because I broke my leg that day. But at any rate, what a killer weekend, And he went to a lot of races and just goes to and follows a lot of racing. If there was race fan, Hall of Fame, he would be on the first ballot, no doubt.
Absolutely. I didn't know that story about Mike either. I knew, he told me that he was like, oh, yeah, Duvall, he worked for me. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. I had no idea that that's how it all
Man, back then, nobody had cell phones. Only rich people like Danny had cell phones.
Yeah.
But
the box phone.
Yeah. But I hadn't worked for him, a few months, and he would back up to a job site, kick me out with a bunch of material, and come back 4 or 5 hours later. I might be dead, whatever, but that's what we did, and within 6 months, I was running a trouble truck, it was crazy. To look back, freaking crazy, the way it all worked out.
Yeah.
I think we all have stories it's like, how did we get to where we're at? Really?
Yeah.
I guess it was better than jail.
I've done better for my kids than where I was at my point in their life, right? Like my kids have more than what I had, right? And it's not because my parents didn't work hard or anything, but my dad was a construction worker. My mom was a self-employed aerobics instructor. My dad wanted to be a professional race car driver. So we didn't have a lot. We lived in an 800 square foot house. But the one thing I've learned about associating myself with people like you and Joe and just that have done well for themselves is they all had somebody to help them get going, and they all had somebody that they always still call Mike, right? Like, but you never forget that. And that's, to me, that's what makes you guys as successful as you are, is because you don't forget that, right? Like, you know that you couldn't do it alone. Just like I got friends that work for you at the same day, you know, and one of them is one of my best friends, and my kids call him Uncle Jerome. It's Jerm Allen. And, man, the things that you do for your employees is phenomenal.
Yeah,
you know?
but I mean, my entire existence of company and everything else doesn't exist without those people. Mm-hmm. People do not come over there so Danny can work on their car.
Right.
There was a time when I first started that was
Right.
that way. They don't even look at the name on the building. Those people come in there and get their car worked on. They go see Joe, or they go see Billy, or they go see Dustin. Mm-hmm. They have their relationships.
Or Frankie. I know Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys, they built, that's the company is built on those people.
Yeah.
You know, we surround ourselves with good people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually asked Tom if he had got out on his own yet as a plumber, and he said no, he keeps paying me, so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
You know, I'll tell you exactly why I am where I'm at. My godfather was my dad's best friend, and they kind of took me in because they didn't have kids. And so I worked a cattle ranch and stuff in the summers from the time I was about 10 years old. Mom and Dad shipped me off down there, and I went and worked a cattle ranch with Larry. Larry's my godfather. And Larry always told me, never make it for yourself or never make it for somebody else when you can make it for yourself. And then a little short story on that. We hunt and fish and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And my dad and Larry and me went to a gun show. And Larry, they're looking at these handguns. And Larry whips out his billfold and just pays for it, buys a handgun. He had a little auto repair shop. My dad was a full-time mechanic at Dowell, you know, and he couldn't because he had kids and had a wife and the bills and the family and stuff like that. And that stuck with me. And so I was young, real young, 10, 11, 12 years old. I asked Larry, man, how'd you do that? You know what I mean? I didn't have a knowledge about money. And he says, never make it for somebody else when you can make it for yourself.
Yep.
And I was 30 years old whenever I decided to quit working for Chevrolet and go on my own. And it was the scariest thing I'd ever done in my entire life. I mean, I quit a good paying job just to go do it on my own.
That's
worked out.
That's what you do. I mean, I had looking back, my house payment was $172. I had about $900 to my name. I had a pile of dung van. I wouldn't drive from here to my house now.
Yeah.
I mean, they never laid down on me, but I sure wanted to take a nap a lot, you know. But, you know, I mean, you're looking back and just the stuff that you did, you know, and I think a lot of that, you know, like with yourself and, you know, being a racer and stuff like that, I think that, you know, you learn to, you know, to improvise, to not take no for an answer, you know. And I mean,
just work.
Yeah.
You just work. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no backup plan.
Yep.
There's no mom and dad to bail you out. Hell, they couldn't pay their own bills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't have no plan B or C, it was just.
I got to make this work.
It's just you just did it.
Swim.
You know,
Kick harder.
I had just gotten divorced when I decided that I was going to go do this for myself. So I was sitting in my lawn chair in my house because that's all I had.
Whew, I know that feeling.
And
I've been there. And that's Tom. He's seen that.
I had a house because I had the payment. But I literally had a lawn chair. I didn't even have curtains. And I had about $800, and I jumped off in there, and it was 7 days a week, 100 hours a week for the first 5 years. And I've been July this year. It was 30 years, and I still worry about it. I still stress about it. You know what I mean? Not quite as bad, of course.
Right.
But you always like, man, I hope I make it.
Yeah.
And
You got all them employees you got to pay for too.
yeah,
So it's like,
you know, there's a moral obligation there.
yeah.
There's people that get up in the morning and go to work and hope like hell there ain't chains on the doors.
Right.
Well, they don't ever think about it. They go into a Quick Trip and get them a gallon of milk and reach in there and pay for that gallon of milk and never think twice about where that money came from. You know, I got 105 employees right now. So that's 440 or 420 people that are relying upon that place to be there every day.
Yeah.
I don't take that lightly. So I poured into my employees, like you said, because it's got to be there.
Yeah.
It's just who I am. It's just I was shaped by that from my dad, my mom, their work ethic, and Larry's work ethic, and you know, it's just how I got to where I'm at.
Yeah.
You got stories just like it, I guarantee it.
Oh,
I do. You help more people than you know. Just like my little story about you helped me with my floor.
yeah.
I bet there's thousands of them stories that you've done for people. And what's cool about you is you don't do it for appreciation. You don't do it for the recognition. You do it because you just have a big ass heart.
You know what's worth more than money? It's time.
Yep.
And the man's willing to give you his time.
Yep.
That's way more than $100 bills.
Yep. I paid him in Budweiser.
Now, I'm not sure if I'd be embarrassed. Or
Well, I worked at Budweiser at the time.
oh, there you go.
yeah.
And I got an allotment of beer every month, and me and Tom drank a lot of it.
So I got a question for you, changing the subject. So you racing this weekend?
Yes, sir.
Are you racing at Port?
Yes, sir.
So like Port, how's their program set up? Do you draw? Do you point average? What do you
Draw.
guys do? Draw?
Just a draw. Yeah.
I
Pass
got
them
you.
boys.
Yeah.
So it's a new race every time. Mm-hmm. And that invert crap.
Well, they
used to
do
that.
an invert.
Do they still do the invert?
I don't know if they do or not. I think they do. I can't remember.
You're just like me. You just go where they
I
tell you.
just go
So
where
they
they
draw
tell me,
every week
yeah.
now. Because
I go in
because
there
Shane
and
was
put my
playing
hand in
with.
the bucket and pull out a 40 something every week, and I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
Well, you need to ask where that other bucket is.
Another bucket.
Yeah.
There's another bucket.
Yeah, the local. Where do the locals draw out of?
Oh, yeah.
So you don't live in Tulsa, so you need to find
I went
out.
and raced in Texas a few weeks back, and they handed me my popsicle stick. Here you go. You got a 91.
Oh,
That's right. That's about right.
I was like,
Oh, was that
All right.
that Big O race or?
it was one of them race saver things.
You know, it's a proven fact. You will not set fast time in Texas.
No, it's a fact.
If you're not from Texas,
that's a fact.
Guarantee. I'll put
Yep.
money on it all day long.
Yep, that's a true story.
I was like, all right, then, I guess so.
okay.
Yeah, it's I remember when they used to do the point average and what was it if you weren't high point you start up front or something like that?
Weekly racing needs to be that way.
Yeah,
I
I think
you got
that's
guys
what.
like sandbag though, like their heat race or something. They just pull off and feature.
Partway
and
through the season, though,
and
that's
then-
over with. 'Cause
Yeah,
next week they're on the front.
yeah, and then them guys still don't win.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like they sandbag to be on the front row, and then they run 10th.
And they're the first one to point fingers.
Exactly.
Cheating bastards.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
How many cars are generally in your class on a weekly night?
There's quite a few.
Yeah, it's like when I started running Outlaw because there wasn't very many sportsmen, but now there's, geez, you show up and there's 30 of them every
yeah.
week. you
So
know?
it's
Yeah.
It's growing.
Yeah.
I think when they changed the rules to methanol, and it is budget with the no left
Yeah.
front, the no nose wing, because I mean, let's face it, nose wings get knocked down first for anything, right?
Yeah.
First thing to crash,
Yeah.
usually.
And so,
I usually beat the back bumper off because I'm slow. It's not
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
not
'cause-
the nose wing I have to
yeah,
worry
that
about.
orange taxi cab is pretty slow. Let me tell you, it's hard to keep up with half the time. If somebody's hitting your bumpers because you brake checked them, I promise.
that push and flip thing. That's why I named my car the Orange Taxi.
The taxi. Oh yeah, orange taxi. Yeah, yeah. What? How long you gonna keep doing it?
That I don't know. I mean,
Until it ain't fun.
till it ain't fun. Yeah,
And that's what we love about you, is because it
Yeah.
is fun.
it is. Yeah,
And you are the epitome of I race to have fun.
yeah,
And
I mean-
that's been lost
yeah.
for quite a few years now.
It's a couple times I've just almost been done, and then I decided to go do something different, and then it gets fun again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because there when I left, I quit, for a couple of years, and then it's like, man, what am I doing now? I mean,
Such a huge part of your life.
I know. Yeah.
And we're kind of a little bit lost if you don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do other things, but
Yeah.
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 Well, and I think if there was more sportsmen like tracks. Mm-hmm. Some like it'd be cool because then you could like, okay, I could go here, or I could go there, you know. Yeah. But you're lucky. We're all lucky to have every racetrack around us, right? So having a track like Port City and having tracks that we have around here like Arrowhead and Creek, and you know, that are always willing to try and do a little bit more than the next one, and so
it's actually pretty crazy, and it's not as big now. But I mean, you go back 10 years ago, it was crazy how many racetracks there was. It was open within a 2-hour radius of Tulsa.
Yeah, it's not like that.
It's not like that now, but it was pretty crazy, you know.
There was a point where there was a bit too many.
Yeah.
You know, car counts used to be a lot bigger too.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like the IMC modifieds, back when I very first started racing, you could race about 5 days a week across this country, and it was the same rules everywhere.
Yeah.
Now it's gotten so diluted.
yeah,
I think the car count is still pretty close to what it was.
yeah,
It's just fragmented.
yeah. I think, you know, when my dad raced, there was no 360 or 305, right? It was 410s.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So when my dad started racing sprint cars, that's all there was. You know, they did have an IMCA sprint car up north that ran at Knoxville, right? But there was nothing else. You just went and raced 410s. And it's the same way with modifieds, right? Like the modifieds, it was what was A mods, you know, you got A mods, and now what we got, like the alphabet down to E mod, I think, you know? I mean, like, but the thing,
Kind of mod, not mod,
right,
sort of mod.
B mod, sport mod, E mod, I mod, Z mod. I mean, you know, like,
Way not mod.
But what people don't understand is that you're not creating more cars. You're just, because the guy that couldn't afford the A mod, he's in the E mod now. So
That's the racer becoming a promoter.
Yep.
With his bias.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we went from 20
got,
cars in
you
A
got
mod.
guys that are trophy hunters too.
Yeah.
You know that. Well, I can't win this, so we ought to. You know, it's
Go over
almost
here.
like motocross.
Instead of
you know?
working and getting better.
Yeah.
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 Heaven forbid, just realize, you know,
Yeah.
hey, you know,
Yeah.
you suck.
Yeah. We see it in every form of racing, though. I mean, it don't matter if it's late model, modified, sprint car, go-karts, mini sprints, whatever it may be. You take a class that had 20, 30 cars and you dilute it down. Now you got 3 classes with 5 cars.
Yeah, it's not. It's
And it doesn't do anything.
we went and raced somewhere the other day. There was 9 classes, and I think that 4 classes had like 12 or less cars in them. And it's like, why?
Exactly.
Why? What are we doing? And nobody's got the balls to step up and go, we're not doing that no more.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's going to take several in an area to stop the madness.
Yeah. But trophy chasers.
Yeah.
The guy that's winning the E-Mod class, he'll never move up.
Yeah.
You know? Brad Best, he wins every weekend, and no, I'm just playing.
Throwed him under the rug.
But
man.
you know what? Well, I just like giving Brad shit. But I mean, but Brad's done it all, right? Like he's done the ASCS, he's done the 2-barrel, he's done all that. Now he's just having fun, right?
He's
As
trying
much
to.
as he complains,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's still trying to have fun. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's what it's all about. Like Saturday night, I was there with Ryder McCutcheon, the kid that I used to help on the micro, and they drove 6 hours from Hobbs, New Mexico, to run that race. And he looked at me, and Kyle looked at me. He goes, "Snow, what do you want to do?" I said, "I came here to race." He goes, "Well, I did too." I said, "Okay, well then we'll just wait it out. Whatever we got to do."
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
asking me, and I said, well, you could rain it out, guys. And the fans up in the stands is the ones that paid the price.
Correct.
I said, but we're here, and we damn sure ain't going home. You know, my kid was kind of thinking, let's load this thing up and go to Twin Peaks. And I said, well, that ain't what I came here for.
Yeah.
Yep. It's and again, I left there at 2:30 in the morning. I stopped at that Chandler truck stop right when you come out of Meeker. You know,
Beef jerky and a
fell
bag of
asleep for
Doritos.
2 hours. Yep, fell asleep for 2 hours. Got up at 6:30, and I was still home before they woke up. So that's all that mattered.
And
to
they
me.
wonder why we have this.
Yeah.
That's a racer's diet.
Well, I went to Whataburger in Lawton before I left because I knew that McDonald's would be closed on the turnpike. So, but we do it because we love it. We do it. I mean, just like all the big races to me, you know, the Chili Bowl, you know, Knoxville. Yeah, the money's great, but to have that trophy there, like Shane with his King's Royal hat, you know, like to me that's cool. Like, couldn't tell you what it paid when he won it, but he still had.
I could care less what it pays.
Yep, It's
the
about
trophy.
It's a trophy.
Trophy at the end of the
It's
day.
the badass trophy.
Yep.
I have a in 1987. Emmett he used to have these races at Creek, and it was the Mid America Championships, something or another, and it was midweek races. And he would catch guys going from the East Coast to the West Coast or whatever, like Ricky Graham, Bubba. Well, Bubba never showed up, but Ronnie, and he would have some swingers show up on their way through and put on these bike races. And kind of a long, drawn out story. I won the 125 class. My uncle ended up winning the 250 class on my 125 because they didn't have a lot show up or anything like that. But I guess it's 86 or 87, whatever. But these trophies are like 5 foot tall. We got a F100 Ford pickup we drove to the races that belonged to my sister. Like these things are like beautiful. Like, how are we going to get these home without breaking them?
Without tearing it up.
Like out of, all the trophies that I've had in all my life, like I've got 3 or 4 that are pretty special, and that's one of them right there.
So cool.
And
My dad said
but I
his
mean,
favorite-
at the end of the day, trophies do matter.
Yeah.
People forget that.
My dad said and if I get this wrong, he'll let me know because he'll watch the show on YouTube. But he always told me the tallest one, his most favorite was the Cheaters Day up in when they used to have it at the old fairgrounds. It was before it was at Hughes's, but he won Cheaters Day, and it was like a 6 foot tall trophy, and said Cheaters Day real big on it, and I remember that trophy when I was growing up, but he's like, that guitar hanging over there on the wall was the last Rock and Roll 50 trophy for when I used to help TBJ, Tony Bruce, with his promotions company, and it got rained out and never got raced. But the people would show up for that guitar.
Yeah.
We'd have a guitar
Like
stickered
like
up.
the pedal car at Lakeside.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was monstrous. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This weekend, the OCRS is going to be a Salina, and they have that Eagle.
Yes, that is bad.
And there's 2 or 3 races.
I have 2 of them, by the way.
The Mike Peters Memorial Race with the helmet.
Yes.
My kid has won that race. The Pat Succi race, my kids won that race. I'm over here going,
Do you have one of those? Do you have one of those Eagles?
nope.
I have 2 of them.
I think Alex still has
You want
most of them.
to? You want
here
to borrow?
lately.
You want to borrow one of mine sometime?
I need to come over. Can I touch it?
He can come over and play at your house.
Yeah.
Borrow it for a day, do a little Photoshop.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Those great big races that she was talking about, and he was talking about, is the Chili Bowl is a prime example of that.
Yep.
Is 99% of it is made up for guys like him
Yep.
that are just out there grinding it out and having a good old time.
Yep. What if you could win any race? It don't matter if it's sprint car, midget, micro. What race would you want to win?
Man. Probably Knoxville Nationals, probably.
Yeah, it'd be a good one.
Yeah.
To have your name on that trophy.
It'd be hard to beat that one.
It'd be real hard to beat. That and the King's Royal. I think that'd be cool.
There's something about Eldora. Have you been there yet?
Yeah, I went to watch the World 100 a couple years ago.
It's a badass joint.
It's
so
great.
badass.
It's great. It's a good time. That's the fan in me. I'm still a fan too.
That's
Well, and
one
that's-
thing that I wanted to do before I got to where I just flat can't do it. I wanted to go at least make a lap or 2 around that place just to say I did.
Yep.
I went probably 20 years ago, and it rained out. And I haven't been back. That's on the bucket list.
It's different. I try to explain to people, and I explained it to my brother when they went and ran the King's Royal a couple years ago with Lockie McHugh. I said, you see everybody parked in the middle, but then you get there and you're in the middle and you're kind of like, this is it. Like, it's super wide, but it doesn't feel as big as what it looks like on TV. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, he called me from in the pits, and he goes, man, you was right. Like, it doesn't feel that big. He goes, I know it's big. He goes, but it just doesn't feel that big. I said, yeah, but you go to Knoxville every week where you put the rigs in the middle, and then you still got 100 foot to each corner. You know what I mean? Like, them rigs are right there in the same amount, and but there's standing down there against the fence in 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 when they come flying by you on the bottom and just, no, there's something about it. And I don't care if it's a sprint car or late model, because I am not one of those. Oh, I only like sprint cars. to me, late models are some ground pounding.
Boy, they are.
Man,
They are the
I
meanest.
love watching them. Right.
I love watching them.
And it's something about like when them cars come flying by, and you hear all that sheet metal rattling, and just it's just like, oh, that just sounds amazing. You know, again, there's nothing better than a 410 sprint car just flying by you hauling ass. But man,
And the late model motor has damn near the same horsepower,
yeah, yeah,
but a big nasty carburetor on it.
big old nasty carburetor, and can race for 100 laps. We got guys running out at 25.
We watched the Belleville race this last weekend, and there was 3, maybe 4 guys that had business running that,
Yeah,
and the rest of them were way out of their comfort zone.
that place will do it quick.
Oh yeah, I've been there, so I would yes, I would be. Yeah, we're gonna go run the 305 up there. And my wife says, "Really, you don't want to go run the 360, but you go run the 305?" I said, "Yeah, way different.
way different. About what 200 horsepower, 300 horsepower different?
2,
Yeah,
about 250.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You gonna drive a sprint car someday, Tom?
I don't know. I'd like to.
On 305 in Belleville, you can drink a Pepsi and smoke a cigarette down the
That ain't
straightaway.
no lie.
And the straightaway is only 75 feet long.
Yeah. The straightaway.
It is. There's only one.
Yeah.
You're just in a circle.
Have you ran Belleville, Jim?
Yeah, I raced bikes there.
Yeah.
Ran
His
set.
balls are in the
I'll
box
say,
over there.
we'll see. It's raining. I thought I seen a trail just drug
Like a
in here.
snail trail.
Yeah, I ran second. Matter of fact, I ran second. It's been
We know what's wrong with him.
yeah. I won Knoxville.
No sense, man. None
I won.
whatsoever.
Dustin Morgan said, I was fortunate enough to run Woo and all USAC classes there. He said it'll humble you at Belleville.
I can only imagine.
I remember Gavin Punch.
Have you
like,
raced?
the
Have you
first
raced? Have you raced Belleville? You get, used to. I don't know if it's as used to. It was real easy to get lost on the racetrack.
Yeah, they used to have or they still do. They got them marked, the corners
Yeah.
marked. I remember going to an outlaw show there, and
It's dark as hell.
all of them
by
loaded
the
up.
way.
All of them loaded up, but like 8 of them, and left. They said it's just too fast.
Gavin Punch that still lives here. The first time I ever went there, his right rear axle broke going into 3,
Jesus Christ!
and he landed outside of turn 4.
That was a 30-minute crash.
Yeah,
That's a 3-screen
that's scary
crash.
because the way the track is, the car disappears, kind of like Salina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, you flip off at Salina, you're like, oh, where'd he go?
I've done that.
It gets quiet, by the way. It gets real quiet and dark.
When you're got this aluminum can around the top of you, it ain't quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's far from quiet.
Have you ran Knoxville, Danny?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I've ran Knoxville. That was the time you go and they draw for you, and she hands you the 99, and she says, "I'm sorry."
Yeah. Yeah. My dad has told me stories about that, especially Husitz was really bad about that when he would go up there on Sunday nights, and him and Randy Smith and all them, they'd go up there, and Randy Smith went there for the first time, and he was driving for Leonard McCarl, and Randy came up to my dad and said, "Yeah, man, I'm starting on the pole." And my dad said, "No, you're not." He goes, "Well, that's what the lineup." He goes, "No." He goes, "Trust me. They did this shit to me last week." He goes, "You ain't starting on the front row." And they pull out there and push off, and they threw the yellow, and they said, "You to the back." They put Randy to the back and put my dad back there too. Said, "No, we ain't doing that. That's that good home cooking there."
You know, Knoxville is it is a different animal altogether. You know, I recognized early on in my racing career that I don't have any talent, so I just have to outwork you. So I've been doing it long enough now. It's not talent, I promise you. It's just I've got experience. I've just outworked you. That's why I don't go and run all the injected stuff and the woo stuff and everything else, is because it was pretty evident to me right off the bat. There's no Kyle Larson in our blood veins.
Right.
So I just have to outwork you. So I pick what fits for me to go and have as much fun without the money taking the fun out of it.
Yep.
I ran a lot of 410 stuff when I very first started, and we had some success, but not anywhere near what needed to be done. But to be really, really good at anything, you got to be all in. And I couldn't be all in. I had a family. I had a business, And to be, if you want to be really, really good at no matter what kind of car, doesn't matter if it's modified or you got to be all in.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, you're just going to be the guy.
Hey,
Well,
he's one of the 4 people sitting here that's won at Knoxville. So.
Yeah, I have one at Knoxville.
Yep.
Motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
Yeah,
But, hey,
It
that's a
doesn't
win.
matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You know, it was pretty cool. But you know, you say that though. The flip side of that is there's a lot of those guys that at the end of their career have absolutely nothing.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. We
They
know
have,
a bunch of them.
Yeah, that have nothing, and it sucks. I mean, I'm not like trying to pound on them or anything like that, you know. But
gave
there's
it
so
all
many
up.
there's so many kids growing up that think that, you know, they're going to be a professional race car driver.
Yeah.
Well, most professional race car drivers are kind of professional mooches because that's
Fact.
just, you know, it takes a lot of freaking money to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a hard truth,
Yep.
you know.
Well,
and
they sell their soul for the race.
Well, let me ask you this: like, yes, there are kids that think that they
Yeah.
might be the next Larson, but is it their parents pounding it in their head, telling them that they could be?
I
Yeah.
think there's some of it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there's
I
probably
mean, 'cause
more
I've seen
than what we think.
I spent a whole year working on a micro,
Yeah.
and I seen it in that world. You know, they're like, well, you know, they're so tooth and nail, just we got to do this, we got to make it, we got to get to NASCAR, we got to do this, we got that, and I'm like, pump the brakes, man.
Yeah.
Your kid's in a junior sprint,
Yeah.
or your kid's in a restrictor. Like, we don't know how good he is yet. Okay, yeah, he's doing good here and everything, but I mean, come on.
It's
I explain it like college sports, football, basketball, baseball, whatever. The higher and the longer you do it, the harder it gets to win.
Yeah.
the
Well,
more
I
you
mean,
move
you
up.
take
Right?
NASCAR. I mean, what is there, 40 seats? You better be special, and you better
600,000 or
have
700,000 people vying for them.
you better have a lot of freaking money coming with you.
Yep.
You know, and if you don't, hey man, you look great. You're a good looking guy. We love what you're about. You're da 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 da. But come back when you have some money.
I
Yep.
coached Little League Baseball 1 year.
I could see you doing that and being done in 1 year.
Little Johnny's the next
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan.
Why is he not pitching?
Yeah, he hadn't figured out which hand to throw with yet, right or left, and he's the next Nolan Ryan.
You talking about the same little Johnny
Oh,
that
my
just
God.
peeing out there in center field a little while ago?
Why ain't he playing? Because he sucks.
I have been. We actually were just talking about this before you guys got here. I'm looking for uniforms for my son and his little league team, and kept playing coach pitch. And I am not the coach. I'm the assistant, and that's just so the other coach ain't there by himself. You know what I mean? And man, it's trying. It is trying. And when I say trying, it's trying not to yell at the kid because you know his parents are sitting right there.
Yeah. You got to get I had to go buy a filter.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we won a couple tournaments, and the parents all come to you and they tell you, "Hey, we qualified for the World Series." Yeah, we just lost a tournament here and locally.
Yeah.
Where's the World Series at?
Yeah.
Slidell, Louisiana,
Oh, my
July, 115 degrees.
Hell no. In the swamp? Hell no.
We went, and we got there, and the kids that were playing were a foot and a half taller. I don't think we scored a run.
So I got a little satisfaction out of our little league team this year because we played against Rosario's kid and Shane's kid, and we beat both of them. And I told Rosario, I said, "Hey, we lapped your boy." he didn't like that too much. But we recruited Shane's boy to play on our team in the fall. Kid's good, real good. This is a question from Ross Moore, old Roscoe. What's one track you would never run, or are there any?
That I will not run.
Yeah.
You know, there's a local one that I'm not really fond of going to.
Well, I know which one that is because yeah.
Man, it's just, it doesn't fit for sprint cars. Oh,
Oskaloosa.
Oh yeah, that place is scary.
Like
Not
driving
gonna
in the
lie.
dark.
yeah.
We were in
Y'all are
staging with Sean
sissies.
McClellan one time.
So he asked Dustin the same because Dustin Morgan's making a bunch of comments that I haven't got to yet. But
Oskaloosa? Seriously?
in a wing 410, bro.
Dark.
And I've raced all over this daggum country, and there's been some real shitholes.
I think I ran fourth there one night.
Yeah, I don't
You
think
know,
anybody's scared. of it,
there
you
was
know
a
what I mean?
racetrack in Coffeyville, not South Coffeyville, but the other Coffeyville. What do they call it?
Berkey's.
and it had the telephone poles that were cut off and drove in the ground, and that was the fence.
Bud's place.
Yeah, and that was a long time ago.
High Bank.
Scared to beat Jesus out of you because you're like, if you start flipping,
Land on a
yeah,
pole.
Well, that's what happened to that guy at Oskaloosa in Owen car.
yeah. My kid was there watching that race.
I wasn't there. I'm glad I wasn't.
Yeah, no doubt.
Dustin said there isn't one that he would never go to. He said each place has its own character. That's what makes you appreciate the different tracks. Each one a little unique in its own.
I believe that.
He did say that Knoxville was by far the toughest in his book,
I would
having to
agree.
hit your marks each and every lap. Very
I would
technical
agree
to
with
be
that.
fast. Yeah,
That's the first racetrack I ever got introduced to dirty air.
yeah. Oh, it's the first time I ever seen Dirty Air as a mechanic or whatever crew guy was at Williams Grove, and I watched Freddie Raymer. They're going down the backstretch like this, and Freddie could hear the car right here, and he just did like that real quick and took the air off of the car's nose, and that car plowed, and he just sailed on around. He didn't have to take his whole line away. He just barely shook his ass in, took the air off the nose of that car, and it pushed up the track, and he just took off. And it's like... And then when I interviewed Ricky Thornton, he told me that happens in late models all the time. But he goes, because our body's on the car, he goes, you can't tell it. He goes, there's times where I can't hold on to the car, but it just goes where it wants, and then I catch up.
Man, we went to Knoxville, and we're getting ready to go qualify, so we do hot laps. And Sam, I think he drew the 100 because I had the 99. Mm-hmm. We're on the very end of the pit still, and he's out there straight away ahead of me and stuff. And man, I run him down like he's tied to a tree, and I was pretty proud of my motor package and stuff. And then I run up behind him, and just as we went to enter the corner, and it didn't even turn. The car didn't even turn. It's just like it just stood up, like it took all the rollout out of it because of the no air on the wing.
Right.
He turns, and I all but knocked the wall down. Oof. So after I get it out of my ass, I go down this backstretch, and of course he's out there 10 or 15 car lengths, and man, I run him down again, and I did it again. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with my car?
Yeah.
Old Bill Petrie was my crew chief back then. And I come in, and he's like, the hell was that? I don't know. And Sam's crew over there was going, man, you got in these dirty air. You run right up underneath
Yep.
it. And I was like, yeah, well, I wasn't going to pass him his hot lap. I don't think I could have anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's crazy.
Then you start dead last in a heat race with 7 or 8 of them guys lined up in front of you. You're like, there's no clean air.
No.
Now you're petrified.
Yeah.
Going in the first corner. This is not going to turn.
Yeah. Actually, Jared Crumrine said best bull ring was Bud Perky's track in Coffeyville. Good old Jared Crumrine.
It was High Bank. It was.
I never heard of it.
It was a dump.
You went to the bathroom. You just wanted to throw your shoes away.
Really?
It was a dump.
And it had mosquitoes the size of sparrows, man.
Yeah.
Grass 3 foot tall. I was hurt. I went with my uncle up there, probably in the early '90s or something like that, and watched. I thought, man, this place is bitching, and it was. It was cool, like dark. I mean, it was a dump. I mean, it was, but like the dumpier the place is, usually the better I was, you know, and the better the races, you know.
Yeah.
But there are some dumps that are just dumps, you know. You can.
We went there, and I watched Nancy McClellan and Dina Risley go to Fifth City, and they were running at each other and stuff like that. They run through my trailer, out the side door, and into another guy's trailer. And boy, they was going. She had a clipboard. Nancy was beating on Dina, and Dina was. I don't know what They were some punches going. I said, "This is better than Jerry Springer right here, buddy."
Shit, right? Dustin Morgan said I-30 in the ditch, which I agree with that. I-30 was one of my favorite tracks. The ditch. You ever in the ditch? Over Riverside.
I've been there a bunch of times. And it's rained out.
Never been to Riverside.
You never been to Riverside? You didn't go there with Sean? Oh man,
Went to I-30.
I love
didn't
that
I?
place. I-30 is good. Yeah.
Little Rock was unique.
I-30 was one of my favorites, especially the way turn 2 was. Like you could go in there and throw a slider, and the way it bowled up on 2, it'd catch
It'd catch you.
Yeah,
Lip
it'd
would
catch
catch
you,
you.
and you could just roll off of it. You know what I mean? But turn 4 turned hard left.
Yes.
You couldn't follow it around.
It's going to sweep you to the wall.
Yeah. Hoagie's Garage is watching. They're one of my good friends. You ever watch Hoagie's Garage? You have to follow them on Facebook. They're from up north and around Iowa, and they do a great job. Hell, they interview some really cool people. For a modified guy, like what is a typical track that you would say that fits you the best?
For me, and generally something kind of flat and round. It's like for whatever reason, it just kind of fits me a lot of times.
Like Wheatland.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm really good there if I have something good to take with me. Deer Creek, I'm always good at, and I think it's just because I had a million laps at Outlaw, and it's really similar size and kind of the structure of it and everything, But I mean, ideally, I feel like I'm more of a, something pretty round and flat, like is kind of just has a fit to me for whatever reason. No idea. Because like when I raced bikes, I hated stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was more of a something paperclip. Yeah. Put it on the cases and gas it, get on the back of the seat, so on and so forth, which was always weird because, I won at Des Moines at State Fairgrounds. I won at Knoxville. There's a lot of places that I won that really didn't fit my style, but I won there, Oklahoma City, a lot of different places, and it's kind of funny, to hear. I mean, I guess I'm a car guy now. I still don't really consider myself a car guy, but Dirty Air, that's old school to me. We drafted.
Yeah, I remember watching that.
They took in behind,
you just
put the arm behind her back.
Tap on the guy when they're coming up behind.
Yeah, it's just, you just don't follow somebody, if it's, and to me, it's been, you've got to always be on the outs. You've got to, especially with a car, because they're so right front dependent, with the stuff that I race. If the right front isn't pinned, you're along for the ride. Ooh. Just like your right rear and your ring. You drive a sprint car off the right rear as far as I'm concerned, But, if it just, you can't.
That's where I went wrong.
You can't, you can't follow somebody into the corner. You have to be able to go where they're not, even some places like Creek County.
Yeah.
You don't
Dirty
realize
Air's
it.
prevalent now. Even in the 305s and two-barrel deal.
You can feel
Wichita at 81, we had 35-mile-an-hour headwinds the other day.
Are they on a 5x5 wing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be.
We're
Imagine
getting
that a mod guy knowing a little bit about 5x5 wings.
Yeah.
Stuff,
the
That's like a group rule. I know that.
OCRS 305 deal, like when they went from the 3x5 to the 5x5, it changed it.
Yeah. Which it should have been.
It made everybody fast. Made it more difficult to pass, but the cream still rises to the top.
Oh, absolutely.
But it is, I think, that the separation factor from a guy that was really, really good, the window got really big for the setup. Where with the smaller wing, it was kind of between a big wing and a non-wing deal, so the setup window was very narrow. And the guys that hit that on the money all the time hate the 5x5 wing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the majority of the racers needed the 5x5 to be competitive.
Yeah, and I think that some people that came from the 3x5 still try to do 3x5 stuff.
Oh, yeah, that don't work.
And it don't work.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why it don't work. But it is what it is. Cottage Grove was one of Peanut's favorites, which Cottage, even if it's in Oregon, and that place was pretty cool. It was flat and bowled up. Dustin wants to know what you think about Humboldt.
Oh, that's a fun one.
I've been good. I've been terrible. I've been great, and I've been embarrassed there all in one night.
You never know
So
what
it's
you're
the
going to get.
humbling Humboldt.
It's
is what it
very
is.
humbling.
You never know what you're going to get.
If you go there and you don't have the, we call the T-bar, basically the back of the body. If you don't have it knocked off at the end of the night, you probably wasn't in the race.
Did you ever?
Or you might have not been in the race and it still might be knocked off.
Did you ever race at Peoria TT?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one that Milner took me to. My first
And broke your legs?
my first national, and broke my leg.
Oh,
Made the main out of the semi, and
Now he's a
Broke my
pimp
leg
limp.
Way to
about
bring up
halfway
old stuff,
into-
Peanut.
Now he's a pimp limp.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit, right? Lane Goodman. By the way, shout out to Lane Goodman. Hope he's gets
Yeah.
better.
No doubt. That
You know what I
scared
mean?
me.
Yeah. Huge supporter of us. We did that show at the Chili Bowl, at the day old chili in the morning, and to recap the night before. So
We need Goodmans.
yes,
We need
absolutely
those kind of guys.
Cream always rises to the top. Yep, I agree with that 100%. You know, I get pissed off when these guys start bitching about format, and it's like
Just race.
you're supposed to be faster.
Just race.
You're racing for 250 grand. Like, you just want it to be easy.
Just race. Yeah.
Yeah, just
race.
do it. Like, because if you're faster than them, you're going to beat them.
You're going to be the winner.
Plain and simple. You know, I think that's a problem with the Outlaws right now, and I ain't afraid to say it. I don't give a shit. They cater to their outlaw drivers. If they are quick time, they're on the front row. Back in the day, if you were quick time, you started 8th or you started 10th. You know?
Those guys race 80 races plus a year, up to 100 races a year. It's hard to beat a guy that does it. It's like the professional baseball player taking batting practice.
Exactly.
Or the Shea Oklahoma City Thunder kid spending 3 or 4 hours shooting free throws. Mm-hmm. You can't help it get to be the best.
Yeah.
So racers need to race.
And the racer that races that much, if they start 10th, it shouldn't matter. Because the guy on the front ain't racing as much as you. You should be able to pass him. And whether it's draw, qualifying, or whatever, I don't care where you start in the heat race. Because if you pass him in the heat race, you start in front of him in the feature.
When you draw, do you ever even care what the number is?
Nah.
No,
It doesn't
you
matter.
don't. It doesn't matter.
It's like, what are you going to do about it?
I do like what USMTS does. How everybody draws and then they draw the one pill. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
See
it's
where
a-
it's going to land.
So
Yeah.
so like if Joe draws a 99, but then they draw a 98 as the one pill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I
don't
do-
really, it doesn't really mean
doesn't
anything.
matter.
It's just
Yeah.
a number.
Yeah,
It's just a number.
And then, then it's still just a number because you go time trial, and then there's the invert after time trials, which is a roll of the dice. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on. You
I
want to
feel-
talk about a race that's hard to win, you go to MTS race.
Oh, yeah, I
Extremely
agree.
hard to win.
I agree.
But they're doing these different things to get the fans involved.
Yeah.
The gimmicks, the
The gimmicks.
stage racing, the bullshit,
The
when
choose cone.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, I hate that choose
yeah.
cone.
Don't get me started on that at an OCRS race.
I
I mean, it
is what it is to
It's
me.
interesting, right? Like you said, you got to race. It don't matter what it is. But, man, there's some people that can't figure out where turn 1 is, trying to get them to figure out where they need to be on a choose cone.
Yeah, we're
You know?
definitely not the professional series. But, I gave up front row because of the track at Springfield and decided to go ahead and ended up starting second. I ended up starting 5th, but I win the race. It was at some point I had to give up to get where I need to be.
Yep.
Because it was just so dominant on that
I get
one
it.
on the start.
Yep.
But yeah, it works against you and for you and stuff like that. It's a gimmick. It's
Tom, what do you think? What do you like? You like it when they start further back, or do you like it when you just like seeing good racing?
It don't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just right. We just
Just
go
racing.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever they tell you to line up over here. Okay.
Yeah.
How many wins do you think you have? I know you got one as a driver, but how many wins do you think you've had between the Lamberts and the McClellans?
Oh man.
Got a few with Sean.
I know. I'd say with
Yeah.
Sean back in the
Yeah.
Sooner region days.
Yeah.
He's still that way.
We run the I-30 one year, short track nationals. It rained out, so they made up during the day that day, and we won the makeup race during the day, and that was awesome. I mean, I got that trophy at my house. They gave me that
Oh,
trophy.
no shit. That's
it's like a
badass.
big old it's cool. But yeah,
Was that your favorite win?
probably so? Yeah.
Day
Outside
racing.
of that, what was your favorite win? Give us your top 5 wins.
Top 5.
Well, first has to be yours at Port City, right?
Yeah,
That has to be
probably
number
so.
1.
Yeah,
right?
then Sean at I-30 probably. Yeah. Then Oklahoma City, we won one there. The right rear was going flat.
On
And
the big
Victor-
track?
Yeah.
On the big one or the small track?
No, it was on the small one. Yeah. I think it was on the small one. Yeah. Yeah, it was on the small one. Then the next time we went up there, he junked it like in the heat race.
Not
Hero
Sean.
0. I've done that.
Yeah.
So I've been fortunate enough to win with Sean too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in the same category with that. Caney. So it was the first Ameriflex Challenge race. And Sean was like, man, I ain't got no help. I was like, well, let's go. He said it's $5,000 to win. And it was all a big to-do because Corbin picked Sean.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so, like, he hadn't been running the series, but Corbin wanted Sean to run it. And this was the black car with the green on it.
Bud Johnson called it the Black Widow, and he hated that when he called it that.
And so we go up there, and, man, we stroke him. Like, so, you go and draw for your spot, right? And he comes back, and Sean, you smoking a cigarette, and he goes, we're good. And I'm like, Sean's talking like that. I'm in, right? And we win that $5,000. I'm like, hell yeah, this is cool, just me and him. And well, then they had the feature after that. Like, we ran the challenge race and then had the feature. And we're running second. And I was like, hell, we're winning 2 features tonight. It's going to be a fun night. And then he sails it off in 1 and 2 and hits the tire where the wall starts, right? And I was like, well, shit, our night's over, And so I'm going back to the trailer or going back to get tires, whatever, to try and fix it. And they push him back up and they push him off. Well, he never even touched the tires. He just looked at it from my angle. And so he fired back off when he starts at the back and he comes back and runs second. And I was pissed. Because if he'd have never went off the track, we'd have had 2 damn big old checks and trophies, But what
Pissed
was cool,
about running second. That's a racer.
What was cool about that night is we got done so early that we made it back to Tulsa. I had that bike and he had a crotch rocket, and we got back to his mom and dad's house and we hopped on there and went out to Port City and watched the features from Caney. That was a long time ago. That's every bit of 10 years ago.
That's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody has those memories of something that just worked out. You know what I mean?
And I still got that picture. I still got the neon yellow Sean McClellan shirt that he gave me that night. Like, yeah. That's what makes you keep coming back, right? Like, I tell everybody I help, I like taking front stretch selfies, Yeah.
Well, there's somebody, I can't remember who it is, that says, they always say, meet me at Scales. See you at Scales.
And my dad's deal is, FaceTime me from Victory Lane, Yeah. He don't ever answer. But he said, FaceTime me from Victory Lane. We already asleep.
I got tickled at my boy this weekend. We both drew dead last in the heat, and it was heavy lockdown stuff, and neither one of us do very good in the heat. But I ended up starting on the pole or the front row of the B, and I didn't even ask him where he started. And then right before he was going to go out, I said, hey, where you started? He said, I start 10th. I said, okay, well, don't pass me. Take it easy on the old man.
Yeah.
Anyway, he transfers. He runs third. So then we're on the back of the feature there. And I said, hey, you remember where the scales are at, right? He goes, you got a lot of confidence. I said, well, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to.
He goes, well, I think I can get it done, but I said, well, I need better than I think I can get it done.
I'll tell you the whole night. I'm watching the whole night, and that 13 car, that white one, that car had a motor in it. But then somehow, some in the feature, they just didn't hit it or something because his heat race and the dash, man, he was checked out.
I'm probably one of the biggest cheerleaders for Fred.
I didn't know who it was.
Fred's in the 26 car, and he led it the whole
Maddox.
way.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the last lap.
Yeah.
And he got passed for the win.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah,
He
physical
was
fitness.
fast, too.
Physical fitness will get you, boys.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it happens. So you race Saturday. You going to win?
I hope.
We're going to have T-shirts there to sell.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think we'll make it to them? I think people will be snatching them up. You
I'm
are.
telling you right
surprised
now,
your phone's not lit up already.
We
like.
post
It
that.
has been
We
over
post
there.
that, and we start saying
Online
I
sales,
got
yeah.
bags right over there in that deal from the lumber lounge. We can package them up, and I can ship them. Whatever we need to do.
Heck yeah.
They are buy 3, get 1 free. But they're $50 a piece.
$50 a piece.
Yeah, the one you get free is a lumber lounge shirt.
That's hey, sure, sure.
You guys out there buying these T-shirts, this is this man's tire money, gas
Yeah.
money, tow money.
Yeah.
And then he's going to mash the gas a little bit, and he's going to probably need a wing maybe sometime throughout the year. So, yeah.
Well,
Well, now you have to tell your daughter she has to show up because she ain't gonna be working on your car Saturday.
She's gonna be slinging merch.
She's gonna be slinging merch.
merchandise. Yeah.
she'll
And
do
we can,
whatever.
and if you want, we can throw it on Lumber Lounge. We can help you sell them that way too.
Yeah,
Because you got fans all over the country. I promise you.
You're going to be taking credit cards for
All
long,
right.
buddy. The demand
yeah.
is going to be high.
It's gonna be high.
But I'm stiffing you on this one. I mean, that's
He's
just the
like,
way it is.
yeah, sorry.
Or I can say, well, you know, it's
He,
slightly
so
used.
you see his hat he's got on?
I've seen that.
So he gave me one. So I'm gonna be rocking that.
I tell people when they buy my T-shirts that they're really good for washing your car. Because I know that's what they're doing.
I like sending the one like my buddies racing shirts and like sending them those like, oh, I needed a grease rag or something, you know. Yeah.
I
So-
always wondered, like, what people do with them drawings. When I do them drawings, you know, like, and some people, you know, like Terry Easum, he sent me a picture of his. He had it hanging in his shop. I'm like, oh, that's cool, you know. And then David Chappell gives me his a while back, and he had left them in his office, and he never framed them or nothing. Then something flooded, and they all got wet. And he gave them back to me, and he's like, I want some new ones, just like these. There's like 2 of them. I'm like, okay, but yeah,
I know
You-
a guy.
I was like, man, that
I know a
thing's
guy
a-
that really needs one. Yeah.
So he did one for me. It's actually in between my mattresses in my bedroom, and it's of my dad. Yep. 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 I'll never forget that. I appreciate the shit out of it. Yep.
The art is coveted. So how'd you get started in that?
man, I just,
Yeah, I say we haven't even talked about the art yet.
yeah, I just
Well, I was with a kid and I had crayons and then I had an etch a sketch.
I
And
was
then you
just
got,
sitting around just drawing. That's probably why I'm so dumb. That's all I did in school was just draw all the time. And so I was going to Tulsa Speedway and I'd draw them guys, and they were on poster board, you know, and they'd sign them, and I'd take it home and hang it up. My whole wall was like covered, and I'm like, I got to do something else, you know. So then I started giving them away, and then everybody's like, you need to sell them. I'm like, man, I don't sell them. I don't even know what they're worth, and you know, just something I want to do.
you're taking for granted something that not hardly anybody can do is you can take in a vision and you can put it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Can we draw you a car? I'll draw you. Can we draw you a car?
Yeah.
I think I've seen this picture.
Fred Flintstone looking
Yeah.
I can draw a stick man too.
What's your favorite picture you've done?
I knew you were going to ask that.
You knew it.
I knew it.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Because I ask about when I have guests on the show, whether it's a driver or whatever. I always ask them, you know, what's your favorite race you won or
Yeah.
you want to win or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's tough, right? So
Yeah.
like I was like, you know, just give me your top 5, right? So like, what's your top 5?
I think my most favorite one was a kid from, he was from Bartlesville, and he got to race junior sprint a little bit, but he had like brain cancer. I don't know if you remember about that.
I do
Cooper,
remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, Cooper Stout.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know that.
And he ran a few times at Port. They put him in junior spring, you know, he ran it a few times. And I did that one, and I met him and his parents at Quick Trip in 75 over by Collinsville. And I gave it to that kid, and he loved it. He smiled and laughed, and I think he passed away like a week later. I think. But
That was a
But you brought joy to his heart.
yeah, I mean,
through that ability that you have it, not anybody
that's just
else
what
has.
I mean. If I get somebody to smile and they love it, that's
Well, you
pain.
do it to a
I
lot
know.
of people. And
Yeah.
dude, I'm telling you, some of the
Well, that's why we're here.
man, the things that the way you, and everybody's so happy. Like I'll never forget when you did that one for me with my dad. I was like, man, I got a Tom Calico. I got me a Tom Calico. You know, I'm freaking ecstatic.
And then I think probably my second one would probably be I did Lane Goodwin one here a couple weeks ago. It was like him and his brother.
Oh,
I just said
man.
Goodman Brothers
Yeah.
at the top. Yeah, that was
I think
pretty cool.
did you post that one?
I think he did.
He
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
a cherry still for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it was cool. But just like those like that actually mean something, you know, and like
And you do one every year
and
for
like
Donnie
yours.
Ray.
Yeah, I
the
do
DRC.
That, yeah. I always wait till the last minute and do it like the day of, you know. But, I was like all week. I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do this time, you know. And then finally, yeah.
Well, and that's mainly because his cars never changed, right? They were
Yeah.
they were either red or black with the Hillenburg Special down the side. You know, I mean, have you ever done a modified?
I have. Yeah, I think I have.
I know a guy.
I know a guy that might want one.
Yeah, I do need to do him one. He's helped
I
me
don't
out
know
a ton.
anybody.
I don't know anybody.
The T-bar
Actually-
beat off of it.
Yeah, I better have T-bar knocked off of it.
T-bar knocked off with in the background on a flat track bike. How about that?
Yeah.
With a turkey peeking over the fence.
So, so that was two, and then is there like, I know that kid, but is there that one special one that just as you were doing it, you're like, I can't believe I'm doing this, and how do you come up with who you do it for? That's the other thing, because
That's just like, I just, think, yeah, I like this. I'm going to do this, and then, yeah. Which
do you use a picture of their car while you're doing it, or is it just all
Sometimes I
from
like
memory?
look it up, I'll look at the graphics or the sponsors, where they're at and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I usually just, Jake Rosario told me I need to do like a time-lapse video of doing
That would
one
be
or
cool.
whatever.
Oh, to see it being done.
Yeah,
how to
that'd be
do it,
cool.
You know, we go to Vegas and go down there on the downtown and watch the street artists.
Oh,
with
yeah.
spray
Oh, yeah.
cans. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like the ones that do it upside down,
Yeah, you're just like,
and
really?
and then they turn it over, and you're like,
Didn't see
didn't
that coming.
expect that coming. Yeah, could you do that?
That's probably not.
Do it upside down. That'd be my car.
Oh man, has there ever been a picture that you were drawing where you're like, I really don't want to draw this?
There's been a few, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like the parent, they like hound me about it, and I'm like, fine, I'm going to do it just so you'll leave me alone, you know. And that's another deal, people always hit me up about them, but I got to be in the right mood to do it. I mean, and my daughter moved back home, so now my stuff's out in the garage where it's 180 degrees, so I don't have the motivation to do it.
Curtis Jones says ours is on Riker's wall.
He's got a few.
That should never be asked.
Dustin Morgan, we have all three hung up in Rick Mulkey's house right now. Dustin Morgan, you've done 3 for him. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like,
remember.
since we started, before y'all got here, these people have been literally like asking him questions, like, and talking. I'm like, this literally just needs to be like me over there as a moderator. Tom, what did you know what I mean? Like, with no rebuttal. I have the published one of a truck from your mom, the early days.
Yeah,
you have a
because I did
published
one, like, I did like a mini truck, and I sent it into Mini Trucking Magazine.
No,
I did.
I used to have Mini Trucking Magazine.
Yeah, and I got,
No shit. That's badass.
Of course, they put it on there with all these really cool ones that these people did, because there's like 2 pages.
Right.
You know,
You
they
still
just-
made it.
Yeah,
That means yours
I mean,
was
it's
cool
still pretty
too.
published.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
published.
He's a published artist.
Yeah.
We're sitting next to greatness right here.
We need to find this edition. I'm gonna get with your mom. I want to find the edition, the year. We go. We can find it on eBay.
Yeah,
We can.
I got one at the house.
Oh,
I
do
think.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, we need snap a picture. Send it to me.
Yeah.
So what kind of truck was it?
I don't even remember. Isuzu, I think.
Isuzu.
Because that's what I had, was an Isuzu.
Nice.
Probably a Suzu.
And that thing rode it like a damn turnip.
I mean, it was either an S10, an MB 2000, whatever, the Mazda one, or an Isuzu. I mean, those were all the mini trucking,
Yep.
I had an S10 extended cab, so I know. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, my buddy Josh Fleetwood out of Muskogee, he has one now. I think it's an Isuzu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he takes all the shows, man.
Hell
It's pretty cool. Hoagie's Garage, and this is for all 3 of you. What kind? We hear of some crazy things that happen on the track. Just wondering, what's the craziest thing that ever happened to you guys on the way to the track or on the home track? Just curious. Tom, we'll start with you.
Man. I don't know that one.
You know, neither one of us, the story's going to be
I know.
nowhere, nothing like this one.
Oh, I guarantee you.
I remember going with Sean. This changes the subject a little bit.
No, you can do whatever you
were
want, Tom. This is your
we were
show,
going to
bro.
Meeker, and we were driving down a road, and he said, yeah, right there's where David lost his 4-wheeler off that trailer. He said that damn thing ended up in the trees way over there.
And he went back and got it. It was
Sounds like
destroyed.
David. That sounds like David.
And he lost a right rear wheel one night.
Yeah, yeah. He told me about that too. He got there, the right rear wheel's gone.
Man, those stories that I've experienced were 99% of the time they were with David. With David, yeah. You know, David had a fear of snakes so ungodly that he would scream, I mean, like a little kindergarten girl. And so I had this rubber snake, and, you know, I kept it in my door panel on my truck and just bring it out when the occasion needed. And me and him were driving down the road, and Kyle and them were in the back seat. And I grabbed that thing and threw it over in his lap. And we're going 75 miles an hour down the highway. Never crossed my mind that he was just going to get out. Yeah, I mean, literally, this man was in a panic of God's proportions, man. He had seen Jesus right there. If it wasn't for door locks, he'd have bailed. We're right there on I-44. But yeah, it's in my toolbox on my race trailer now, and every once in a while somebody go in there and open it up. And David, we put it in the seat of his car. He was done. He would not race. I'm not racing. You get that son of a bitch out of it. It's rubber.
Man.
Man, the guy was petrified of snakes.
Cody Cordell is too, so you got to get him with that.
Oh, I keep it around.
Joe?
You know, I've speaking of David, one of my best practical jokes I ever did was congratulated him for winning the lottery before he had Facebook. It was awesome.
He won the lottery?
Yeah, he didn't win the lottery, though.
Oh, okay.
But I announced him congratulating winning the lottery.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
he didn't have Facebook. It was so great.
Oh, that's funny.
It was so, I mean, he won it. You know, it was a scratch-off ticket. It was something or another. But he came into a big bunch of money, and unbeknownst to him, he couldn't figure out why everybody was calling him.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was
That's
great.
funny.
You know, this sport needs David's, it needs Joe's.
Oh, 100%.
It needs Dustin Morgan's. It needs
Yes.
Lane Goodman's. You know,
Yes.
the sport's, you know, with Dustin not being around it and stuff, it's a big piece.
Huge piece.
Personalities,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, people always ask me if I miss being on the road, and I tell them all the time, like I don't miss the traveling. I miss the people.
Yep. Miss being there.
Yep. I'm
Don't
sitting here.
don't miss going and coming.
Correct. Unless I'm flying.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here the other night. It's Sunday night, just hanging out. Neighbor across the street, having a nightcap. And my phone rings, and it's Tim Kading. And he goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm sitting here and drinking." He goes, "Yeah, I know. I seen it on your Snapchat, so I figured I'd call you because I'm drinking too." You know, and like, it's those connections you make with these people throughout the years that last a lifetime. You know, and it's just like with Tom. I met Tom at a racetrack with Sean, and my friendship with him will last a lifetime.
Personalities.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. And let me tell you, you know, everybody knows TK. He got a good old personality. Cleans pools for a living.
He had them wound up the other day.
Yeah, he did.
They were wound up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, we all watch, and you know, never met the man a day in my life, but I like watching him.
Man, I'm telling you, that guy. I remember calling him one time. I was living in Lubbock, Texas, and I was helping a guy with a 305. And this was before 305s got super expensive. And they used to have that 10,000 to win race at El Paso or Las Cruces, one of the two races. Royal Jones put it on, right? Well, Bud Kading had went down there and won it. Well, that was when Bud was running USAC. So it's like, well, Bud can go down there and win it with a wing on. Surely Tim could. Well, I was helping a guy that he was like, "Man, who can we put in?" And I said, "I'll call TK right now." So I call him. And he goes, "What's up, Snow?" I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm cleaning this guy's pool." And his light bill could afford a World of Outlaws team. And I'm wondering what I'm doing with myself.
We've
I
all
said,
had those
"Well,"
discussions.
I said, "Okay, well, you want to come drive a 305 for 10 grand to win that Royal Jones deal, the one your brother won last year?" He goes, "Hell yeah. When is it?" And I told him, and he said, "All right, well, I got a meeting with Dennis Roth on Tuesday, and if it don't go well, I'll call you." He didn't call me back. So he got put in the Roth. I think that was a little bit better car than I was working on at the time.
305,
Yeah. But man, he just, the way he tells it, and that when he said that, you know, this guy's light bill could pay for a World of Outlaw team, it's just like you can see him doing that with his little scrub brush or whatever, and he's looking at the guy's house, and like, oh, what am I doing here? But that's what we do.
A racer that I've gotten to know in the past 15, 20 years is the famous Danny Smith from Chickasaw, Ohio.
I say you got Danny Smith from Ohio and Danny Smith from Oklahoma, kind of like
Andy Hillenberg.
Well, Andy Hillenberg, and
yeah.
then there's what's the other one? He's from here, the midget guy. How did I forget his name? They have a machine shop.
Edwards? No.
No. What you got? You keep going because I'll remember it.
So he would come down this way sometimes, going to Devil's Bowl, this, that, and the other stuff like that. And then we ran the outlaw shows at Lawton and Meeker and went to High Limit, the old Meeker and stuff. So he'd come through, and so he'd stay at my place and park his toter home out there. And this is when you say a racer that or don't have much when they're done, he has nothing. And the bad luck that this guy has had is phenomenal. His wife passed, and then his race shop burns down, and then he's had nothing but toter home destruction, you know what I mean? But you talk about a guy that is an absolute joy to listen to. Just sit there and just shut up and listen.
Oh, his stories. I can
Oh,
only
my
imagine.
gosh, man. And, man, he has this man has zero stress in his life because he don't give a about nothing.
Nothing. I was at Engler with my brother about 2 months ago, and he pulled up in his Suburban. I was like, holy shit, there's Danny Smith.
I raced the king of the 360s down in Florida a long time ago. And we ran decent in the beginning and stuff. And then Kerr, that speed shop, they come and drop off tires and all this other stuff down there. They definitely got the wrong trailer.
Yeah.
So I go down there and I said, hey, what's that? Yeah, they said Danny Smith. No. Take it on down there. The other
down
one.
there. Oh, Kears.
Kears,
there you go.
something,
Yeah.
And then they come over and say, man, we appreciate you, because we just dropped that stuff. Yeah, but I know better.
Yeah.
And then he'll text me. I see I won a race down there in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And he goes, I got people calling me. I said, yeah, I don't ever have anybody calling me saying, I heard see you won a world outlaw. It don't ever work that way.
Chris Andrews.
Yeah.
There's an Ohio Chris Andrews, and there's our Chris Andrews. That's what it was. Dustin said, thank you, Danny. I miss the relationships I've made and the thrill of how far I carry that car into the corner without breathing the throttle. Don't miss being a stuntman.
He's a liar.
He's a liar. Yep.
He does miss that.
Oh, he got a new rec tech. So maybe we're looking at smoking meat now. So, yeah.
Yeah, where's the thrill in that?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Lane Goodman, the sport needs the likes of Danny, Joe, Tom, and Snow also. Appreciate all of you guys. Well, no, Lane, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
I was actually at his dad's first race.
So,
The Dave and Joe Thrill Show.
No, it's
No,
prior to that.
Really?
Yeah.
really?
Prior to that.
So I always heard this, and I think I even talked to Wayne or Lane about it, but they called him Whiz Bang.
Oh, yeah. That was Ray Crawford.
It was a Ray
He
Crawford
pinned
thing.
that on him.
Okay.
He actually raced a Honda Odyssey
Oh, really?
before he ever got into one of these cars or any of that,
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
He
And
drove for me.
Mike did? Really?
We did it 1 or 2 years. Yeah, I had to have a discussion with him one time about. It looks like there's a lot of cars in here, but we're going through them quick, man.
Yeah, and boy, you couldn't do that now. The cost of everything.
No, the
now.
cost is too high. Back then I had deals, but there's no deals now.
My brother called me the other day, and
Well, you can do it. You just can't do it real long.
Yeah.
yep. My brother called me the other day, and he said, "Bro," he goes, 410s went up again. I said, well, "What are they now?" He goes, "Man, they're close to 80 now."
That's nuts.
Yeah.
You know how I got into this mess? I tell this story because it is relevant. My wife was the one that was actually going to drive the race car.
I think you've told me this story.
It was never intent.
You've told
I
me the
never
story.
had any intentions of driving a race car. And I bought a guy out. And then me and her went down to Enos, Texas, and she went and drove a 410, 200 or 300 laps down there. We went down there and was it Smiley's?
Yeah, the Smiley's deal. Yeah,
and
yeah.
She's on her 200th lap or something like that. We've been there for 2 days. She can rip, buddy. I mean, she will scare the bejesus out of you. She can rip. And I left. I went to town and bought a 4-wheeler. It's because we're going to need a 4-wheeler, And I come back, and she's still out there ripping around there and stuff. And then they come in and change stuff and everything, and they're talking to her and stuff. And I'm just watching stuff. And track's prepared. I mean, this thing is hauling ass. And he says she's got about 20 more laps, and then we're going to be at what I funded. Mm-hmm. And he goes, and then it was like $20 a lap if she wants to keep going. And so I went over and told her, I said, hey, 20 laps here and we're done. You better get all you can get. We don't need to be putting around there for the first lap or two waiting on it to.
Yeah.
We're just go,
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and 10 laps, 15 laps, 20 laps goes by, and I'm like, oh, she's going to go another one. She's going some more.
20, 40.
She's going, I'm reaching in my pocket going, son of a bitch. Hey, white flag, red flag.
Out there waving.
Why'd you stop me? We was out of money. Yeah. So we come home, and so she goes to Walmart, and this is a while, and I built the car and had the car done, motors done, everything else and stuff, and she's going to run that 2-barrel class out at Tulsa Speedway. She goes and picks up I think there were 12 packs of Coke, and something popped in her back. And she's had 7 back surgeries. She went 5 years unable to walk.
No shit.
And so we sitting there with a race car. And I said, well, I guess I'll try. And I got a lot of trying, but I tore up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But that whole deal of getting into racing. So I raced 12 races with the 2-barrel at Tulsa Speedway. Mm-hmm. And they got it granted. I've been crew chiefing on the road for 6 years. Mm-hmm. I've been there with the 410 deal. Here we are doing this 2-barrel deal, and I'm driving, and I can't learn with these morons. Hell, they knocked my front end down like 6, 7 races in a row. Well, I look back on that. Hell, I was putting it where it didn't belong. Mm. It's all my fault. It wasn't nobody else's fault. So what do? We're going to go 410 racing. I got 12 races underneath my belt. The only racing I ever done, I drag raced professionally for 5 years. And then I get into dirt track racing. This is a whole new deal for me. I bought Ray Campbell. He raced out there at Tulsa Speedway in a 410. I bought his motor, and I freshened it. And it was 768 horsepower. And I gave him $12,000 for it. And I freshened it for probably about $2,000. So I got $14,000 in this deal. We go out to Tulsa Speedway. We run 25 races. I am not a winner by any means. But I could run 7th to 10th because I started on the front row every night because my point average sucked.
Right.
And it was just how long I could stay up front.
Right.
And it paid $3,000 or $4,000 to win every night out at Tulsa Speedway. And so I'm drawing a paycheck of $600 to $700 every Saturday night. So I bought a motor, I bought a big enclosed trailer, and raced all year long. There was no such thing as a tire bill. Hell, you could run a tire at Tulsa Speedway.
Well, they were so hard.
10 races. Well, hell, it's so heavy.
That too. Yeah.
Your tear-offs was the biggest expense you had. And I paid all my bills and made like 10 or 11 grand. And you don't think I was hooked on racing?
Oh.
Yeah. It's like, well, this is dumb. Why aren't we all doing this?
Yeah.
And then the next year, I spent about 50 grand of my money, my own money, over and above what I was able to drum up. I said, okay, whoa.
Yeah.
So, and then the time that I started 410 racing, about every 90 days, a new set of heads came out.
Yeah.
And if a new set of heads meant a new set of injectors.
I'll say, when you said 760,
yeah,
that's a 360 now.
Yeah.
And that's a
weak one.
I'd say that's pretty bottom of the barrel 360 anymore.
And then
I've seen some 780, I've seen some 790. I haven't seen an 800 on paper yet, but I've heard of them.
I built a brand new 410 the next year, and it was 804. I took it out to Westmars, and they dynoed it for me. And they told me it was the second one they had that was over that. And I built it in the garage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then in 90 days, it was obsolete.
Yep.
Because then they're 810, 815. And it was going so fast, I was like, I sold it. And that's when I started OCRS.
Yep.
Is because we were out of places to race.
There's a need for OCRS.
Yeah, right now there is.
And I'm glad that they started letting the 305s race with them because it increased car counts.
Yeah, they had to.
And they're competitive.
I have both.
Yeah.
There's not a nickel's worth difference in them now.
And
Just
you know,
evolution.
it's
evolution.
But
Yeah.
you look at an OCRS race and you'll have a 30 cars a night.
We had
32.
2. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to bounce. So
Yeah.
You're good, man.
some of us got to get up and work.
Hey,
in
how
the
about this? How
morning.
about you? We get the boxes.
Yeah.
We get those real quick.
Yep.
We'll bring them in.
Yeah, I'll help you.
Me and Tom will settle up.
How you going to pedal?
Yeah, we're gonna pedal them. I will say this before Dustin says, "Damn fellas, my latest rush is leaving these bass tourneys with my cousins, with the hot foot down and me holding on to the old shit handles." Well, Tom, what do you think, buddy?
That's pretty cool, man. I seen he had that shirt on. He come in here. I was like, "What in the hell?
Why is my
that
name on that shirt?"
Like, I've always wanted to get shirts, but that's not like a cheap.
Dude, I have held.
And when I'm doing this myself, I'm like,
Dude, I have held that secret in.
really? Did you really?
Oh my God, I think it's been 2 months.
No kidding.
And like, he texts me and Shane out of the blue.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, I need a picture of Tom Calico's car." And of course, Shane got it to him.
Yeah.
And he said, "This is what I'm gonna do." He sent us the proof.
Really?
And he said, I want to give them to him on your show." And I said, "Well, that'll be easy, because I'll just text Tom and be like, 'Hey, you want to be on the show?' And I know he will."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he goes, "You think he will?" I was like, "Oh hell yeah!" And
Yeah,
so when I
I'm all
texted
about it.
you a while back and said, "Hey, you want to come on the show
Just
sometime?"
didn't know when.
I didn't know when, because I didn't know when the shirts were going to be done.
But I got you.
Well, so he calls me last week and he says, "Hey, them shirts are done." And I said, "I don't have a guest next Monday. Let's get it."
Heck yeah. That's badass though, really.
I mean, I'm going to wear one with pride.
Hell yeah.
You know I will. People are going to wear them with pride. There's one thing about our racing community is we support those. And like, it's cool for me to be a small part of it. Those are Tom Calico shirts. Look at
Man,
that.
look at another box.
Look at that.
Man, that's awesome, man.
All right, man.
And then the car that it is too.
Yes.
That's great.
See you.
I appreciate
See
you,
you,
brother.
man.
Yep. Danny, you out of here? Thank you so much.
I'm going to wear it.
You're entitled to that.
You can have one, yeah.
Well, we were hoping, we thought maybe Steve might have showed up too, Carbone, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, but
You can run by.
he lives too far in the hood, I guess.
Terry put up the lid on this.
And Terry Easum, I know, I didn't know Terry was involved in it, but I know he was super excited about the show tonight. So,
Hell yeah.
Steve, one of the good ones.
hey, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Guys.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you.
And thanks for coming to the 1% neighborhood, right?
I was looking around at him.
Yeah. How cool
Yeah.
is that?
That's cool. And that's what I mean. Like, of the car it is.
Yeah.
That car
so
means, like-
to finish out the show, because this is what happens with my shows. We just keep rambling.
Hey, whatever,
and I
dude.
love it. And you
Yeah.
love it. I know
Hell
you
yeah.
like watching.
Yeah.
What made you want, I know you were friends with him, but what made you think to yourself, you know what? I want to do it for him.
Yeah. Man, I don't.
Because let's be honest, man, like them guys right there have been
Yeah.
so successful in their lives, and me and you, we're still working folk, and you know what I mean? Like, not
Yeah.
that they're not by
Yeah,
any means,
yeah,
because
yeah.
they've worked their ass off for everything they have, but you know, like, man, that's, dude, when he sent that to me, I'm like, dude, this is gonna be I actually, if I had a line in Vegas, I would have put money on you, maybe even shedding a tear.
Man, I was fighting to.
Pretty
Yeah,
close.
I was. I
Okay,
was.
well, at least I know you were close.
Yeah,
and
I
I don't want you to cry by no means, unless I'm like
Yeah.
punching you because you couldn't drink a beer or something.
But after I quit racing, I was like, man, I don't even care to race anymore. I'm just done.
yeah,
I don't even want to. But then I remembered who had that car, and I was like, man, I want to. And then that's when Jake was doing his raffle deal too with his. And so I tried to get in on that deal, and I was like, shit, $200, But
yeah, why not?
yeah, And then I didn't win, so I told my wife, I was like, hey, what do you think about buying this car, you know? And she goes, oh, I thought that was already a done deal. I'm like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I went and got it and tore into it.
Does it, because of the history of the car and being your friend, is that when you're in the car, does it make you feel any like certain way? Do you think about that?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like you're not
when
just
you're,
racing for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. You think
know?
about it. Yeah, you're like, man.
You want to do
I know
him
he's-
proud.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because, I didn't know him.
Yeah.
But I know the story and, and,
Yeah.
and everything. And I feel like it was,
Yeah. And the first night I went out in it, like his mom was there and his daughters were there and a bunch of people were there. I'm like, man, this is. And my mom was there, which my mom's been like way supportive of it now. Like,
that's awesome.
she's there all the time. And the first night out, my boss was there and a couple of guys I work with. There's a bunch of people. And this first night out at it, you know, and like the heat race, I look like a goon because I was like, I didn't have
raced
any,
in a couple years.
Yeah, I didn't have no camber in it, and that thing was all over the place. And then I got lined out, and I went out there and won the B feature.
Hell yeah!
And my mom, like a buddy of mine's filming, and my mom, I'm like, hey, it's a B feature, Mom. You're going to have to calm down a little bit.
A win's a win, bro. Heat race, C, D, B, whatever.
Joe gave me a helmet, and he was like, he gave me a couple of them actually, but this one he's like, hey, just so there's no pressure, but I won last time I wore this helmet. I was like, oh, yeah, no
thanks,
pressure.
Joe.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
And then I won the B feature, and I texted him. I was like, hey, I want a B. Does that count? He said, hell yeah, it counts.
Bowers was my best friend. That's so awesome. Curtis Jones.
Yep. Him and Curtis was tight.
Yeah.
And that was actually Curtis's car. Curtis sold it to Jeremy. So it's still kind of like in the circle kind of deal, you know, which is cool too.
That's so awesome. Dude, Curtis is such a good person.
He is.
I mean,
Yep.
I'll never forget the first time I met Curtis. I was standing on the fence at Tulsa Speedway on 66th Street when he was helping Berry Hill.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll never forget it because he's standing there, he's all tatted up. And and I'm like, because I'd seen him around and, hey, man, what's up? Snow, I'm Curtis. I said, what? I said, you help Berry Hill. Oh, yeah, man, I'm just here, man. I race too. I just, he just needs some help, And I didn't know he raced micros, but he's kind of raced a little bit of everything. But, man, it's just, it goes back to what, the personalities and the people that you meet throughout this racing. And I tell my wife all the time, like, I cherish every friendship that I have from racing. And
Yeah.
I have some racing buddies that are probably, I'm closer to them than I am with my family, or some of my family, not all, but I know that there's people in this world that, in the racing world, I could call before I could call my family too.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, it means a lot.
Yeah.
Just the little things you've done for me, even if it's just a quick phone call when I'm going through some shit.
Yeah.
Because you know a lot about me and what I've been through, and a lot of people don't. Yeah. And that was why we drank so much beer at my house in Collinsville. But man, I so appreciate you being on the show. I'm glad we could surprise you.
I appreciate it.
We need to grab one and hold it up and show everybody. And if you want one of these new shirts for Tom Calico, I don't know, but I think they might say Tomcat on it somewhere. They should, but I don't know if they do or not. But it don't really matter. But if you want one of these shirts, we will figure out a way to get them for you. If I need to help you with the shipping side of it, whatever we need to do, because I'm telling you, dude, there's people that know you from not here. Because when you were with Sean and
I got a bunch of friends like in Illinois,
I'm sure that they're chomping.
Yeah.
And so is what you need to do is just I'll post it, you post it.
Yeah.
However we can help out. I'm gonna buy one because I need one. I need me a Tomcat shirt. I gotta have me one. I'm gonna wear it to the races this weekend. Who said that? Dirt, yes, Dustin Warren. Curtis is gold. He is definitely gold.
Yeah,
and
when
he
my
also
dad
said
died,
he said we'll win in it. I think that's what he said. Yeah, we'll win with it.
Yeah, he's ready to get on up there. But
Dude, I want, dude.
Yeah.
Next time, because you know me, I like to dabble. I like to go and help these young kids, and because that's the future of our sport,
right.
And that's why I enjoy so many of the kids from the micro world, like the Cash Lacombs and the Ryder McCutcheons and the Riker Jones that have always supported me, because they're the future, right? Like, whether it's in the micro world or in the sprint car world, they're still the future. Like Frank Flood ain't gonna be around forever, in the micro world, and Steve Kinzer obviously wasn't around forever. Right. So, helping these kids is what I like to do. Dustin Morgan said he'll take one. I knew he would. So we'll talk about it after the show's over.
Yeah.
We'll figure out if we need to throw it up on the Lumber Lounge so people can just buy it that way, and I can just send you the money because that's how it works. We'll definitely take care of that. You tell us right now how much they're going to cost. They're your shirts, bro.
I don't even know what shirts go for anymore.
Well, it really doesn't matter because your cost in them.
That's true.
Is zero. Yeah. So you charge whatever you want. It ain't, back in the day, we used to spend $20 for a shirt, man. I went and bought shirts for my kids at Knoxville.
Like $30.
It was $30 for a kid's shirt. But I will tell you this, being involved in what I do with the Lumber Lounge, a kid's shirt costs just as much as an adult shirt.
To make it.
It costs the same amount.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah.
So we'll figure out that side of it.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the coolest thing I've ever done.
Oh yeah, man, it's awesome. Yeah, like I said when he came in, I was like, "What in the hell? Where's he?"
So he told me, he goes, "I'm gonna wear one. I'm gonna wear one when I walk in," and I was like, "All right, yeah, that'll work." Yeah,
I was kind of confused.
So what did you think when you seen it?
I was just like, "What? What is this?" I was like, "Is that like a one-time thing or what?" Like you got one shirt made, but I was
obviously
like,
not.
No, obviously.
Hey, and listen, this Bulletproof Tees,
they're
the ones that did my my deal right here. Chad Wheeler got that for me for the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
They do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Ethan Bolton, I need one. Your daughter, I need one.
Oh,
well,
I'm sure.
You better pay for it. I gotta have one. Uncle A. Man, my whole family will need one. Curtis Jones. Dude, I'm telling you, this is gonna be this. Danny you might not have none left before Saturday night.
Why not?
You better get you some sticky notes with names on them. You need to start you a Cash App and a Venmo just for your shirts.
Yeah,
I can help you with that too.
I don't.
Like, 'cause I used to go to places and they'd be like, "Oh, I ain't got no cash on me." That's all right. I tell you, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, credit card. I got you. What you need?
Yeah.
Trying to get out of it. You really want one, you'll pay for it.
All right. Yeah.
But there's not going to be any problem with selling these shirts.
Right. I don't. Yeah. I wouldn't think so, but I mean.
So what are you thinking? How much we thinking?
$25 probably.
$25 for a Tom Calico shirt. I think that's a good deal.
I think so too.
I think it's a real good deal.
I hate it when I gotta go spend $30 for a shirt.
Yep.
I know you got the cost of making them and all that.
Yep.
So you know what I mean.
Yep. $25.
25
bucks will get you the first edition, because I guarantee you this is going to be a second run of the Tom Calico. Let's grab one. Let's grab one. You gonna grab one? Yeah, we're gonna grab one. We're gonna put it on camera so everybody can see them. There's 3 boxes of shirts here. This is freaking awesome because of those two gentlemen, Terry Easum and Steve Carbone. Boy, this is awesome. I'm so glad that I got to be a small part of this. Look at that. You unwrapped your own shirt. Are you crying yet? Yeah, you little bitch. You ain't gonna cry, are you? Look at that.
It does say Tomcat.
Look at that.
Yeah, we got like. Can they see it?
There's the camera. See the camera up there?
Yeah, I'm just behind them.
Nah, yeah. Yeah, so there's the back. The lighting's a little off. I got to fix the camera from the lighting because it's so bright. But that's the back. And I'll take some pictures of it and post it on my site. And then Tom can share it, and I'll send the pictures to Tom so he can share it. Look at that. You got Finish Line, Duvall. What else is on there? Bulletproof Tees, Same Day Auto. What's the one on the left?
589.
What's 589? Is it? Let me see. Yeah, 58. Yeah, that's Peterbilt. Yeah, 58. Oh yeah, 589. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have me one of them. It's in the dark heather gray. Hold on. We got people talking. We're Malcolm Tillman. Currently wearing sunglasses with them bright ass legs. Hey, no, that's the lighting. It's the lighting. Yeah. Dustin Morgan's in. Following Tom and watching him building that car was fun to watch. I think we're all proud of him. Absolutely. Justin Pataka, 4 for 100. Everyone needs to get a deal. I mean, that is fair. I do that with my hats and stuff. It's like because my hats are 30, and if you buy 4 hats, you get them for 100. Well, 4 for 100 is still 25 a piece. I seen a deal the other day. It said it was I don't know. I watch a lot of what do they call it? Can't remember it right now. Inspirational shit, right?
Oh yeah.
And so it said you had a sign that said 1 for 30 or 3 for 10, or 1 for $3 or 3 for 10. Well, people will buy 3 for 10 first,
Yeah.
because they think they're getting a deal, but they're spending $1 more, right? Yeah. I'm in for a medium, Sean Wicker. I'm telling you, we're gonna blow this shit up. Everybody's gonna have a Tom Calico shirt at the freaking racetrack. We might have to have a second run for the Knoxville Nationals. Like, you never know, bud.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to have some more, ain't we?
I think so. We don't know the count, but there's 3 boxes there. Mm-hmm. We don't even know what sizes they got you. We have to figure that out too. Because like sometimes when I do runs of shirts, which I don't do it very often because I make them as you order them, but like I'll do like 5 of this, 5 of that, and kind of work from there. But I don't think we're going to be worrying about more.
Yeah.
That's a long drive home to think about this.
Yeah, I know. You got to help me out because I'm like lost.
I got you.
Like,
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
We're going.
All these people are like, I want them. I'm like, how?
We're going to sell the shit out of these things, man.
The only way I know to do is take it and get cash.
You get Haley involved.
Yeah.
Because I know Haley, she's young
Yeah.
enough. I know she can take care of it. So we'll get this up. We'll get it going. We'll set up Tom with a Cash App and a Venmo. We need if we need 2 XLs. I'm telling you, this shit's not gonna last. This is like QVC now. This is like, you want me to go put one on and model it? Like, this is QVC. Oh boy.
And
Lumber Lounge and Garage turn QVC. How about it?
Yeah.
So we're gonna get Tom
used to
set
watch
up with
that
a
all the time.
Cash App, a Venmo, PayPal, whatever we need.
Yeah.
So that way you guys can purchase one. When it comes to the shipping, if you're outside of the Tulsa area, we'll have to figure that part out.
Right.
Typically, I add like $5 for shipping.
Yeah, that's what I was
just
gonna
because
say.
that way they'll cover that. That way it don't come out of your pocket. So we'll handle all that part too. And if I need to help you with that, we'll figure that part out. I can, we can throw them on the Lumber Lounge and Garage if you want. That's up to you.
Yeah.
To help you move through them that way, and then I can add you to it. And when a sale comes through, you can just whatever we got to do. So I can help you with that. $25 might be too cheap. Your daughter said I got you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Who
So
said it's too cheap?
you just make sure you hold one for your mama. There's hell to pay, or there's hell to pay.
Yeah.
Mama gets one.
I'll take you. I'll
Charge her
take that.
double. Don't charge her double. Charge her double. Tom, text me tomorrow or call me. Curtis Jones.
I'll do it.
Okay. And look at his fancy hat. I know it's bright, but he's got these Bowers special hats.
Yeah.
We need to have some more of those. Maybe you sell those.
Yeah.
We're fixing to start the Tom Calico merch line right now.
Yeah.
The next one's Tomcat.
Yeah.
Remember they had that one ginger kitty? I think his name's Brad Sweet.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna see if Tanner Holmes still got his merch trailer for sale. I guess.
Oh yeah. Let's sell a few runs before we go buy a merch trailer. But dude, what an awesome night!
Yes, for sure, man.
I hope it made your day,
I'm kind of impressed you kept it in that long.
man.
Of course, you don't talk to me every day. So.
I don't talk to you every day.
You did good.
There's a lot of people I don't talk to every day anymore.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
My circle has gotten a lot smaller in the last few years, but I got kids.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you've seen them pissing and moaning earlier because they couldn't play on their damn whatever. Yeah. He has one of those for me too. Oh yeah, Curtis.
Yeah, I told you I had hats when.
Yeah,
yeah,
the hats. Yeah. Did you hear about the pickle I put myself in with the hats? I got drunk on the show and I said, if you wear my hat in Victory Lane, I'll give you $100. Well, that's when Riker went on a tear.
Yeah.
I finally got him paid off.
You take payments.
Son of a bitch. And he reminded me too. He reminded me. Hey, but you know what? I lived up to my end of the bargain.
There you go.
And I made sure that he got what he needed. So this is probably hands down my favorite show.
A good one.
I've I've got to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I always said that I wanted to, when I started this, it's turned into more racing than anything. But we obviously talk about more than racing. Mm-hmm. But I always wanted it to be more relatable and more down to earth for the blue collar working man.
Yeah.
And you are definitely that, and you work hard for your family, and you work hard for everything you have on that racetrack. Mm-hmm. And I know that when your dad did pass, that it was tough on you.
Yeah.
I know me and you have had conversations about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he's there with you.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. Like when I went out, because it was like the same weekend as the DRC, I think, like right before that. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, man, I got to go to the DRC deal, so, because I'm not going to miss that race. But so I go out there with the drawing and all that. And then everybody was just like, and then I talked to Curtis. And Curtis was like, dude, this is where he'd want you to be with your buddies at the racetrack.
Yep.
So
100%.
I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Telling you what you're doing wrong.
Yeah. And then Lane Heimball won that picture in the drawing, and he had Donnie sign it, and then he gave it back to me.
That's
so I have it
awesome.
hanging up at my house, which I never keep my drawings really.
Okay. Have you ever drawn your own car?
No, not while I had it.
You need to do this one.
But yeah, I have one when I did it with Jeremy had it.
But you need to do one of this one and
yeah.
I think it'd be cool, man. Every now and again, you got to take care of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because you take care of everybody else, brother.
I try to. I mean,
there's only few people like you in this world, I promise you. And I'm glad to call you a friend.
I appreciate it.
And I'm glad that we was able to surprise
Hook me
you,
up.
get you some shirts.
Blew my mind right there.
I know. I seen your face when he walked in. I'm like, he's seen it. I was hoping you didn't see it at first. And then I seen you. You were like,
but then I said
"What's a
something.
nice shirt on you got on there."
And he didn't say nothing. He just sat down, and then he was like, "You gonna say nothing about the shirt?" I was like, "I did."
Yeah.
But
Tom, thank you so much. We're about an hour and a half in, or 2 hours and a half in this.
Are we?
That's what happens, man. We just get going.
Hey.
And to have those two here was phenomenal.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I've never had Danny on the show. I need to have Danny on the show just to have him on the show.
Yeah.
So I knew that them two were coming. I know he had mentioned something about Steve coming, but Joe said, I invited Steve and Danny. I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care who shows up.
Yeah.
Especially if they were involved in this great deal.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So maybe your daughter's crying. If she's crying. I was really hoping you'd cry.
Was you?
No, not really. Not out of like, because I know I'd cry.
Yeah.
I'd be crying like a little sobbing ass bitch. I promise you, man. Like I get emotional in my older age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's more because you get to that point where you're like, this is what we do, and we work hard for everything that we have. And dude, the amount of support I get on Lumber Lounge, dude, it's like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like these people actually want to watch my show and with me and Shane and buy my shit off the internet, or when I had my booth at the Chili Bowl, it was like, holy crap, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna sell some shirts. Tom, I always appreciate my drawing from you. It's been to many houses with me. Justin Pataka. That's just because he can't keep an old lady. He just keeps moving around. You need to frame it so it's easier to move.
There you go.
Sorry, he's gonna kick my ass. God, he's gonna kick my ass. But I love Justin Pataka.
Damn, Gary Taylor was at the shootout a couple years ago, and he goes,
I remember that you did the Telstar car for him.
dude, I didn't know I did that many, because he's like, I'm moving, and I didn't realize how many I had.
Yeah.
And he said, once I get moved, I'm gonna send you a picture. And he sent me a picture. Dude, there's like 5 of them.
Justin Pack, same way. Didn't you do something for Justin Pack? Did you do a Steve King one or something?
I don't think so.
Maybe you didn't. Maybe I'm. Oh no, maybe he has one of Gary's. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But, man, this is awesome. You got a long drive home.
I do. Did I get tow money?
I gave you beer.
That's true, you did.
I bought you beer. You only drank 2, so
Well,
you can take
clear back to freaking.
You can have the other ones, but you're not going to drink and drive. You're going to wait till
I'm not.
stoplights, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Tom, I truly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
Oh, Justin said, Snow, I'll get a T-shirt of you spinning out just for that. Hey, there's footage. It pops up every year, I promise. No, seriously, Tom, thank you so much. Not just for coming on the show and for me being a small part of what Joe and Danny and Steve and Terry did, but man, just for being a friend.
I appreciate it.
And not just in the good times. You've been my friend in the bad times, and it's a blessing to me to have Tomcat in my life. And I know that there's plenty of people out there that can say the same thing, because you're the biggest listener that'll ever be. And somehow you end up making sure that we understand that it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right.
So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that came and watched tonight. We're going to post these shirts up online, whether it's on the Lumber Lounge or just on Facebook or whatever we're going to do. Get with Tom, get with Haley, get with Joe, get with whoever. We'll get these shirts to you. This is going to be fun. I'm so happy to be a small part of it. And we'll be back next week at the Lumber Lounge and Garage, JST Motorsports Bench Racing live shows. I don't know how we can top this one, but we'll probably try and figure it out somehow. Shane will be back next week. He's down in Florida hanging out with the family, enjoying his time. And good luck to Tom this weekend at Port City Raceway.
The old port.
And if you have a racetrack that you're close to, go out this week and go support it. Without fans and without people showing up, we take a chance of not having racetracks to go to.
That's a fact.
We talked about a lot of racetracks tonight that aren't even here anymore, and that we need to keep as many as we can. So thank you to every single one of you. Please go to thelumberlounge.com and buy some swag so we can keep this show going. Shout out to every single sponsor that I have. I probably need to run through their names just because I know that's just what you're supposed to do, right? When you're sitting in victory lane, you got to talk about the sponsors. Obviously, Kaiser Racing Wheels. They've been in my corner since day one. Hoagie's Garage, Abilene Powder Coating, My Race Pass, Ryder Mac Racing, Flying A Motorsports, Forge Construction, Port City Raceway, Perfect Terp, Lambert Property Service, Horizon Whiskey, Victory Seats, Wheeler Metals, and a bunch of other people that have always been there for me since we started this. And not a single one of them I don't appreciate. And so thank you guys for coming this week. We will be back next week. Again, we don't know with who or with what, but we might have Tom back, see how many damn shirts you sold.
Hey,
Whatever it takes. So thank you guys. Be safe this weekend. Again, go support a dirt track, whatever racetrack you want to go support it. We need that. Come out to Port City Raceway if you're not doing anything, and watch Tom Calico will Jeremy Bauer special.
Yeah, the old number 2.
Number 2. So number 2 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts, Mr. Tom Calico. Love every single one of you guys. Be safe. Have fun. Now that the 4th of July weekend's over, I hope you have all 10 toes and 10 fingers, and your emergency bill is not that high. So we love every single one of you, and we'll see you next week.